All right, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of Enigma to start your Saturn night off. Haven't really played that song, I think, ever on this What's Your Question platform. That album came out when I was in high school, and I remember it vividly. And I remember buying the album on CD and playing it over, after I think it came out in 92. I don't remember what year it came out, but right around the time of when I was a young adult. And I remember playing that CD over and over and over and over and over. And just, that album just amazing from start to finish. That was their remix. I'll leave the link in the description of that song from them off their YouTube channel. Get over there and support them, because I'm going to get a copyright for that just by using it. But I don't care because I love the music and I like supporting the artists, so I could care less. So if you ever see a commercial on my page, if you ever turn a video on and you see a commercial, it's not because of me. I don't monetize this channel. It's because I use copyright material and they end up attaching their commercials to it. So just so you know, that's the reason why. Because I just don't like commercials. I'm not a fan of commercials. I watching a video, like you're really into the video and then all of a sudden a commercial interrupts you, it drives me crazy. Especially these people that have like a freaking commercial every 2 minutes. It's crazy. All right, so anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome out. What's Your Question 101? This is a prime number. This is the 26th prime number. Here's the tarot card to represent number 26. It's the card of source. Card number 26. The word source in numerology is 26. This is the happy home. This is the casino that houses us all. 26. The mirror of the 62. 62 means the dream. If you ever see the number 62, it should remind you, if you want to know what that number means, if you see it, don't give so much stress and anxiety to the world around you because life is but a dream. 62 means life is but a dream. That's what it means. Okay? The mirror of the 26. Big things tied to those numbers. So, on the walls on each side of me were the cards that I pulled. I asked the deck, which cards would you like me to put on the walls for What's Your Question 101, and these are the two cards. On the right is the Eight of Wands, this card. And it means fast movement. It has many meanings. It's a fire suit in the tarot. It's an air suit in the cards of illumination. It's an Eight of Clubs. And it means fast movement. This is the 30th card in the tarot traditionally. The word lightning equals 30. The word exorcism, but I did a full decode on that, equals 30. Like if you want to get rid of something, Eight of Wands. This is one of the three cards that do not move in the card system. King of Spades, Jack of Hearts, Eight of Clubs. And then to the left of me is the Justice card. Literally what this means is on the right of me is the 21st card in the cards. It's the word love is 21. The justice and love. We have love and justice. We have movement coming in, justice coming in to take shape and to transform the world around us. The movie's about to change. I think in a big way this year. Because next year we get the Page of Swords for 2026, which is the writer. We get the writing is the new movie comes in, I think. However that looks. So those are the two cards that were chosen for tonight's episode. And I appreciate all of you joining. I'm sure we won't get a huge crowd because of the big day tomorrow for many people, which is the celebration of Mother's Day, which I have never really done. I don't really get into the holidays. But those of you that are mothers out there, you're probably going to have some fun. You'll probably get showered with a lot of love and gifts and all that. I think every day should be Mother's Day, right? Because that's how we all got here, by way of the mother. And this is where these decodes are going right now. Just released back to back on the public YouTube here. We did the Pope. We did the breakdown of Pope Leo. The resurgence of light. I mean, Leo is the sun and Jesus is tied to the sun. And then we had, just today, earlier, I released scripted reality number 29, which was a kind of a piggyback of the Pope, because that was all about the cross. So if you haven't watched scripted reality number 29, you should probably go check that out. It's a member favorite. It gets, the analytics are at the very, it's always in the top 3. And they're a lot of fun to present to people, to make the graphics and all that stuff. So that's what's going on. And I also wanted to say, send out some love to Jordan over at Waters Above, and just give him a big shout out, because he does such an amazing job with changing the world. And I really just value him as a friend and as a mentor, really. You know, like he's such a great person. And we share very similar values with our mindsets. He's doing amazing work. He's got his university, he's got his courses, and he obviously this religious theme, right? Like Enigma, and they have that song "Return to Innocence," but this whole church, and it's just the resurgence of that kind of, this is the theme right now. And really what it stands for is just love, like loving people, severing ties with people that are causing you dissonance in your life. Like, I know that a lot of people will say, no, you should try to mend. And sometimes it's better just to cut the cord and walk away, so that they can be free, so you can be free, right? So I think there's a lot of cleanup going on the world stage today. And this whole Mother's Day thing kind of follows suits with this Pope being instituted on May 8th, which I didn't even catch it, but it's the 128th day of the year, which matches his latitude, longitude of Chicago, 41 degrees north latitude Chicago. When you add up the latitude, longitude, it's 128, right? The introduction of the crypto, Pope Leo, moving all that energy from the sign of Leo into Aquarius, which is where we're going. We're already there. We're already kind of like there. I think we're blended between a little bit of, at the end of Pisces. You kind of would say, like, I think these astrological signs go in quadrants, like they have their spring, summer, fall, and winter. And I think that we're in the winter time of the Piscean age. We're moving into the springtime of the Aquarian age. So, springtime can be a slippery slope, because you know how it is, especially where I was raised in New England, outside of Boston. Just one day you wake up and it's 70 degrees and you can't wait for the warm weather to come. And then the next day cold comes again. And it's very finicky. It's very fickle, springtime. So there can be dissonance. And I think that what happened may be happening on the world stage moving forward. So anyway, big shout out to Jordan. Get over, support his channel, Waters Above. I really just value him, and we're going to do another podcast together. He wants to do another one with Jason Bashir's over at Archaics. Maybe we can do 2 of those. That would be cool. He wants to talk about an idea he's been talking about, where these ages are actually controlled by ancient technology, the ages that we move through, which I think is a fascinating topic to discuss. So, another person that that I highly respect, who does great work, Jason Bashir, is over at Archaics. And, he's amazing at what he does. He's that great chronologist and historian, and he's just a wall of information. I actually just got notified. I got by Big John. Big John's kind of Jason's producer, I think, or maybe more than that. But he reached out to me just a couple of days ago asking me if I wanted to come back on and do a podcast with Jason. And I said, of course. So I'm waiting for him to respond back. So that'll be in the works. I know Jason has his meetup in Houston next weekend, I think it is. So there's that. And I was like, maybe I should just go to that. That would be kind of cool, and just sit there and meet some people and listen to what people have to say, listen to what Jason has to say. That may be on the table. That may be possible. I don't know. You never know with me. You know, this is a last minute, what's your question? So you never know where I'm going to be, what I'm going to do, and where I'm going to show up. So hats off to those people. And all of you, you know, I wanted to say thank you to all of you, especially the Patreon members, the donating members, the one that support this research. You are valued and appreciated. All of you that have been here on the public YouTube for as long as you've been here, I appreciate you, you know. I think we've come a long way from a lot of slips and dips and spills and thrills, but we're there with, I think we've broken the code wide open. I don't think there's any doubt that we live in a scripted reality. I mean, I've been saying this for quite some time. I should say we, because when I say we, I'm just being channeled through, as you are as well. I'm not special, folks. It's just me, man. I just have a channel. I'm an influencer, but so are you, you know. You may downgrade your influence. You may not think you're an influencer, but some of you out there have saved people from killing themselves, and you don't give yourselves any credit. You just kind of brush it off. Some of you have influenced children to grow up to be a certain way. Some of you have helped your friends out of some sticky situations, and we kind of just brush this off like, yeah, I was just being a friend, but you know, you kind of saved a life, and that's really what it's all about, is being able to help people, and when you're called to do so, you know. So big shout out to all of you here in the chat, and everybody here that will be watching this What's Your Question number 101. So enough with the rambling. Let me pop out the chat here and square it up, and let me start getting to some of your questions. Okay. So we got Pamela Swan in the house. I think, you know, I like Pamela Swan version 5. I think there's 5 of her. She's the only wrench I have in my chat room. I don't need any more. I think I don't even, you know, like, no offense to Pamela, she's great. But we have a great group of people here. There's very little disruption in here. I don't really, like, it makes Pamela's job easy, and she gets to kind of relax and have fun, and she's constantly marketing. And she does all of this from the graciousness of her heart, which is beautiful, right? Showing her love and all that. So make sure you say hi to Pamela and give her some love. What's up, Dean? Dean what? Whipfly? I don't even know. I hope you can maybe help me with this, because I look at Dean and I see Dean Wi-Fi, but what's the WIPFIL? If you want to share that. He says the new world religion is going to be called Chrislam. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like. But I can tell you right now, I'm not going to be a part of it. I got my own. You got your own. Why would you want to follow anybody else's? Dean also says Micah Dank was just on. Yeah, I've seen... Mike is cool. He's got his presentation, but he just does the same presentation over and over, but that's totally fine. He's super smart. Super intelligent guy. I've watched like 3 of his presentations, and it's the same presentation. So once you get it once, but he's a very smart man, and I like his material. I think he's a tropical astrologer, though. I'm not sure. Not that that's a bad thing, but I don't do tropical. Michael Sislo says, have you ever noticed how the number 7241977 compressed to its root contains the chief cornerstone prophecy? I haven't. 21, 23, 27, 20. It's a 1. So it's a 1 root. If you add them off, that's what you mean. 7241977, I think, reduces all the way down to the number 1 from a single digit perspective. Iconically, my question is there's no such thing as coincidence. I say it a lot. Coincidence? You hear me say that a lot. But no, there's no such thing. The great Nigel, the late great Nigel, he used to say coinky dink. He was awesome. Over at the Devil's Playground, him and Harry. Pamela just listed Micah's website, and he has debunkmywork.com. No, Micah, we don't need to debunk your work, bro. It's your truth. But that's a funny, interesting website. It's like an introduction for people to come at you with a freaking sledgehammer and try to take you out. Come give me persecution. Do I have any info? What's up, Bumps? Do I have any information on the upcoming full moon? Let me just open up the Stellarium and show, and so everybody can see it. Get my cursor out, and we'll be good to go. Where are we at? Okay, there you go. So, here's today's date, May 10th. We're going to go into May 11th, May 12th. I think, this is the cycle. It usually is like 3. You can see that if we zoom in on the moon here, it's going to zoom out on me. Today's the 10th. So right now the moon is at its pretty much final stage at the feet of, at the ankles of Virgo. And it's going to move into Libra. It's going to be a full moon in Libra. It's going to move into Scorpio as well. Or is it going to be in Scorpio? No, it'll be in Libra. Yeah. So we have a full moon in Libra. Well, I mean, it could mean a million different things. So, I mean, it's going to go through all pretty much the majority of the houses. But Libra energy, I mean, today's card that I pulled is Justice. This is the Libra energy. So maybe there's going to be energy coming in from a collective for the entire world during the full moon. The full moon is the release. But it is also, it can be like the lunatics come out, the werewolves, full moons. Mosquito activity can be up to 500% higher on a full moon. Yeah, I found that the hard way when I went to the beach one day on a full moon, thinking I was going to go walk the beach. Yeah, I was out there 2 minutes. Freaking mosquitoes got me so crazy. They just feed, man, the werewolves. That's why the werewolves are on the full moon. So, but we do have the full moon in Libra, and the Libras ruled by Venus, right? So there can be kind of a nice, and this is kind of interesting, being right around the time of Mother's Day tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, Mother's Day, we have it, and Libra's ruled by Venus, and the moon and Venus really are the epitome of the way you feel, the honeymoon, and then Venus, the way you love. So, I don't really observe the Mother's Day stuff. I never have, but those of you that will, I'd be interested to see if you feel anything during that day. Celebrate. I mean, this should remind you, like, if you are going to be there with your mom and you're going to go have some fun, and really it's all about her, her special day. If you do that thing, then maybe you really want to, really be consciously aware of the moon in Libra, realizing that, Venus is, the ruler of Libra. And Venus, Venus is going to be all the way over in Pisces, right? So this is a very beautiful energy for the full moon, because Venus will influence that layer of Libra, because Venus rules the sign of Libra, and Libra is the sign of partnerships. It's the sign of relationships. In this case, tomorrow, it would be the relationship that you have with your mother. And all of us here, I would think we were all born under the Piscean age. So this could be if you're really going to be a conscious observer of the sky, then maybe before you do go out and you go see mom, maybe you really want to think about the fact that, how valuable your mom is, really, beyond what you already know the value is of your mom. If your mom's alive, if she's not, then maybe you could just do some kind of thinking in your mind, whatever you want to do, meditation, prayers, and give a state of gratitude, really. You know, it's all about your state of gratitude. And tomorrow being in Libra being ruled by Venus, and Venus is in Pisces. We were all born during the Piscean age, I would imagine. This is going to affect that Libra energy. And, you know, even in Pisces right now, there's Chiron is still here. Chiron's in Pisces, which is the wound, trying to correct these wounds and getting rid of and severing cords and all that kind of stuff. And then we also have Neptune in its own sign, Neptune being right there. And we have Saturn in Pisces. Okay. So you have three big heavy hitters here. You have karma with Saturn, which is what it's known as, the karmic giver, the karma of time. And Poseidon, the Olympian, who's Brahma in the Vedic traditions, the creator god, ruling the waters, giving illusions, but Venus coming in here, and now Venus adding that layer of love through the Piscean energy, which is the fish, man. And this is what we all are. That's why Jesus was a fisher of men, because we're all the fish, the ichthys. It's the word fish. If you go to numerology, the word fish is 17, which is the same as the word matrix, which is the womb, right? And matrix is the same as the word story, like your story. What's your story? 17, which it's your life. 17. Okay, so you may want to think about that as we go through this new moon, the full moon coming out here, before you go and start doing your things, is to be grateful. The first thing that we should be doing is gratitude of our lives, what created us, giving gratitude to everything in our reality that is giving us bliss and the experiences, even the gratefulness to the things that you don't like. Chiron is here. So what are the things you don't like? Because those are the great teachers. The things you like, those don't really teach you anything. The things you don't like, that's what really teaches you the major things in life. Okay? So I hope that helps you. Truth Be Spoken says, howdy from South USA, Jesus is Venus. Yeah, I mean, I released a video out on the Patreon. I have over 111 videos now that you won't find here on the public YouTube. So if you want the big heavy hitters, they're all over where the like-minded people are on the Patreon. And one of the very last ones I've released was called Jesus Venus, I think, or Venus Jesus. And I'll show all of you. I'm going to show you tonight. So stick around. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek on the bright morning star. I'm going to show you. It's tied to the Star of Bethlehem. See, Jesus was a dude. Yes, but he was very feminine. That was the Venus energy. He was a messenger. That was the Mercury energy. He was Jupiter. That was the expansion of religion in the church. He was Saturn, the cosmic ties. All of the planets, man, we're all of them. So it's not just one, but there will be specific ones that are curtailed. He was Mars, man. When he went into the temples and he flipped the tables over. He was pissed. That was the Mars energy, right? So we play through all these energies, all of us. And when you start to look at it from an astrological perspective, it becomes so much easier to understand through our reality. Peace. Do you believe we are what we attract? I just believe in destiny. My foundation is destiny. The Greeks taught this, not the first one. All the way back, the Greeks said you can't change your fate or destiny. It's fixed. So how can if that's your foundation, right? If you are somebody who agrees with the Greeks, which obviously, if you've watched enough of the videos that we've been putting out, is there any doubt that we have fate and destiny? Predestination is 1000% final answer. So with that as the foundation, how can we live through, I'm going to do law of attraction and all that kind of stuff. How can we do that when we already have our script to play through? If you use the law of attraction and you say, oh yeah, it works for me, that's because you were supposed to use it. So if you start to become sad, if you start to become violent and you start to attract that kind of energy, it was written in your script to do it. So yeah, you could say that like attracts like, absolutely. But the foundation behind that is, if you're supposed to attract violence in your life, it was written in your script to attract the violence in your life. It's a lesson for you. It's a teacher for you. Silver Mubasir, have you decoded the Quran? Yes. I have a decode on the live on Let's Talk About the Quran. I've broken down the Quran a few times. If you go watch my the Watchtower, I think even the Tower of Ra. If you go on my live, the subcategories on the channel, and you click on the live where all these what's your questions are, you're gonna see the Watchtower decoded, and in that I broke down the Quran with the King James Bible, with the Greek Sinaiticus, the Sinai Bible that Billy Carson's like a huge proponent of, supposedly the most authentic original manuscripts of the Greek scriptures, supposedly. All that, the King James, the Quran, the Latin Vulgate, I broke them all down in the Watchtower, and I showed that they all of them are pledging to the Yod, whatever that is, which is Ra. Ra, they're all pledging to Ra. Every culture, all the Abrahamic religions are worshiping Ra. Ra came before. Now, I can't prove this, right? I'm just regurgitating this, but what historicity says is that the Egyptian pantheon of Horus and Set and Ra and Osiris and Isis and Geb and all those came thousands of years before the Torah came out. So if let's say a hypothetical, that is an absolute fact. Well, then if you go back and you research the Egyptian Book of the Dead and you start to correlate it to the total Bible now, right? You're going to start to see a very similar story playing out in the Bible. If you go into the mainstream, just go to the Law 1 material, which was Carla Rucker and Don Elkins and McCarthy, the three that came together to create the Law 1 material. And they were big UFO people. And they were using the channeling of Ra. And it says right in the book that Ra was a 6th density energy from Venus. Not anymore, but that's where it was. I didn't write that stuff, man, but that's what they wrote. And they started writing that in 1981, January 15th. They started channeling the Ra entity. Before that, those Carla and Don Elkins, they were UFO people. Don Elkins was in the Coast Guard. He's got military background. He was big into UFOs. They've talked a lot about it on interviews. It's Ra, man. Ra just keeps coming up across the boards in everything. And that's what the God of the Bible is tied right to. Christ is tied to radium. The generation of Jesus Christ, Matthew 1, verses 1 through 16, the 42 generations of Jesus Christ, at least the Christ is tied to radium. Jesus is the bright morning star, as he says in Revelation 22, verses 16. You gotta, well, what does that mean? So that's my long answer, Silver, is yes, I have decoded the Quran. I actually did an interview with a buddy of mine in London. I got to do another interview with him, but he speaks the language, man. So he was giving me all the nuggets, and who's Allah? Ra. How can it be any other way? It's just a big Ponzi scheme. I mean that with all due respect as well. I don't mean that disrespectful when I say that. Makes it easier, right? Yeah, lessons are the key. Yeah. You know, this journey is the only... Bob Proctor had said something so profound in his Born Rich series. He said, he says, you know, as far as we know, this is it, man. This is not a practice run. This is what you got. So you better squeeze every drop out of it, this life. Because we speculate on, yeah, reincarnation. I talk a lot about it. I think that's what the case is, but you won't remember. You won't remember because you didn't remember this time around. So you might as well just give it your all, figure out what you're being used as, being used for, being used by. Maybe you have a spirit guide, a higher self, a representative that's using you. Maybe the divine has created a whole bunch of representatives and each one of them is assigned to you. One of them is assigned to you. And it's playing you as a character. It's very interesting to consider this stuff. What's up, Lane? Lane says, I'm studying on mastering the zodiac. I feel like I'm growing up. Yeah, I mean, look, I fought it. I didn't want to use that system. I had several people at the same time, not one, several. I think 3 people. The universe was like, hey, Logan, from 3 different people, you should check this Mastering the Zodiac. Nah, because I was doing the Vedics. I was into the Nakshatras. I was studying the Vedic stuff. I had moved away from tropical, kind of. Was using both side by side, and then I finally went into the Mastering the Zodiac after. And what did it for me was when I went out on the beach one day, and I looked up at the sky and the moon was in Leo. And I went to the tropical and it said that it was in Virgo. And I was like, dude, so I took a picture of it. I had 2 phones. I have an American phone and a Mexican phone, right? I had both of them on me at the beach. It was a clear night because it wasn't a full moon. And I was able to take my phone and hold my hand up and take a picture of it so you could see my hand holding it. And then I had the app and showing the app was exactly pointing out where the moon was. It was in this right under the shoulder blade of Leo. I documented the whole thing. That's what did it for me. And then, the discovery of Uranus, William Herschel, 1871. Clearly he says that Uranus was by Zeta Tauri, which is Taurus. Well, you go to tropical and it's in Gemini. It's not possible to be in 2 places at one time. And then when I was doing the Acapulco, Jeff Berwick's event in February, I was again down at the beach, looked up at the night sky, and there was Zeus, right at Zeta Tauri, right there, right at the horns of Taurus. Took a picture of it, documented it. Of course, what does it say? Zeus is in Gemini. Well, I can see it's not. So that it's been twice with my own camera and my own eyes. And I don't like to use the word prove, but this was apt. There is no doubt that I showed it twice. And then William Herschel's, and then even Lionsgate, I did a decode on that. If you do tropical astrology on August 8th, where's the sun? 16 degrees Leo. It's literally in halfway through it. That's not the gate, that's the center point. That does not make any sense. So if you do true sidereal, where's the sun? It's at the end of Cancer, ready to go through the gate of Leo, the Lion's Gate. That makes much more sense. So I have that one, the discovery of Uranus, and then my 2 that I did with my own eyes and my own camera to prove that tropical astrology now in this day and age does not line up with the canopy of the stars. Final answer. And I don't care if people don't want to accept that. And I get it. It's a system of magic. So if you use tropical, does it work? Yeah, because it's a system of magic. But what system of magic would you want to use? One that's precise or one that's made up? Or one that's old and doesn't work anymore? It'll still work because it's a layer of magic, but which one is more in tune? The one that's lined up with the stars, man, that you can see. And that's true sidereal. So until you get an interpretation of true sidereal astrology, and you're giving the zodiac their respected sizes, because like Virgo is like, I just want to get this. I'll show you really quickly. Let me open this up and just show you. I think I have it open. Yeah, here it is. Let me just show you this. And let me just show you this. Okay. Here we go. Check this out. Because you know I like to support. So look at this. If you go to the International Astronomical Union that designates the 88 constellations, it does that by how big they are. Okay? So here they are. And what's the largest constellation? Hydra. Look how big it is. Virgo is the second largest. Okay, so Virgo has 1,294. Okay, then let's find Aries. Where's Aries on this? Right here. Aries is 441. 441, folks. It's literally a third of the size of Virgo. But you know what people do, right? They take it and they box it in. Well, not mastering the zodiac, there's Aries right there. Which one makes more sense to you when you look at this right here, which tells you how big they are? Why would you box Aries in and give it the same size as Virgo? Why would you do that? Because people are in the habit of just regurgitating. They're in the habit of just following the leader. And we're all guilty of it. I'm not an exception here. Okay? But I've refined myself in astrology and astronomy because I know that this is the most accurate system you can use, bar none. And it adds in Ophiuchus, which has every right to be on board with the other 12. Okay? I know 37 is the 12th prime number, but 13 is a big deal because it's the 41st. 41 is the 13th prime number. And 41's tied to Elohim, it's tied to the womb and the matrix. So the numbers even say that the 13 is bigger than the 12. This keeps the 12 houses here, yes. But it gives each zodiac sign its respected size based off of what this has to say. And that, to me, ladies and gentlemen, is precision. Okay? Tropical astrology does not give you precision. Period. Yeah, Michelle says, I thought my sun was in Scorpio, but it says my sun is in Virgo. Yeah, exactly. So there's some changes that you have to make, adjustments. You'll still be Scorpio, right? Here's the 1 + 1 = 2 fact on astrology. You and me and everybody in the world, we're all of the signs. It's just that we're in the habit of saying, hey, what's your sign? What's your astrology sign? We're in the habit of that means what's my sun sign? But it's the sun, the moon, Mars, Venus, Mercury, Pallas, Ceres, the asteroids. You can get it. You can go deep with this, man. So it's not just like, oh yeah, I'm here. I'm a Virgo sun. No. Where's your Venus? Where's your Mercury? Mercury is the lord of Virgo. So now you got to look to where Mercury is. And Mercury could be in Scorpio. And that's why you resonate with the Scorpio sun, because whatever planet is in that zodiac sign is going to have a roundabout way of being that hotel. I like to call them hotels. Mercury in Scorpio is very similar to the definition of what the sun in Scorpio is. It's just that Mercury is the way you think and the sun is the spirit, but they have to behave with the lens of Scorpio. So you just get that, what does Scorpio mean? And then what does the sun and Mercury mean? You're going to see some similar definitions in those. And that is why it's important to look through all of the signs and go through and get an interpretation on Mastering the Zodiac, the true sidereal system, and then make the determination, then study it. And there's a lot of moving parts that go to it. Okay? I'm going to pin this. Thank you, Pamela. Pamela put the Mastering the Zodiac. Oh, that's the dates. Oh, those are the sidereal dates. Let me get right. I want to pin that. Yeah, here's the Mastering the Zodiac. Why is it not letting me pin it? Whoops. There it is. Okay. All right, so just pin the masteringthezodiac.com. Jorge Rodriguez asks, can you elaborate why tropical is magic? All of these esoteric systems are systems of magic. Let's talk about what is magic. The transference of energy. Right? Like abracadabra, transferring energy. You're speaking, when you speak a spell, you're speaking a magic spell. You transfer energy, you transfer words. So if you use the language of tropical astrology and you say, yeah, I'm this and I'm that, and it says this and this is what it says, you're speaking those spells into existence. That's what you're doing. It's using the energy of that system to create its own archetype. It's an archetype. Like when you go to a church, the church is an archetype. And they use magic there. Ceremonial magic, ritual magic, white magic, black magic, whatever the case may be. It's an archetype. So true sidereal is an archetype. The stars are archetypes. The constellations are archetypes. So it's just, that's the simplicity of it, is we live in a world of magic. Stormy, what do you think about Helena Blavatsky? I think Helena Blavatsky was very intelligent. She was involved with several different organizations. Theosophy was the big one. She's got her book, which was a very long book. But I think that she had a lot of gems in that book. And I think she was very smart. Madame Blavatsky. Michelle's asking about October, being born in October. October on the solar calendar now, right? The solar, what do I mean by that? Let's separate the two. I'm going to go through this real quick because I know a lot of you know this and I don't want to say it, bore those of you that have been here. A lot of people have been following, have been here, reoccurring. There are two calendars, right? That are the major ones. The Gregorian calendar, which is what most people, we all use it. Right now is the month of May. But the month of May and the Gregorian calendar is month number what? 5. But if you go back prior to the Gregorian, you go to Julius Caesar. He's the guy who took January and February, supposedly, and moved it in front of March. Well, if you go prior to him, March is the first month. What makes more sense? October, octagon, or October being the 10th month? Which one makes more sense? Well, if you line it up with language, octagon, the shape of an octagon is an 8-sided polygonal. That's October. March, in the Tropic of Cancer, is the beginning of springtime. Now you get into tropical and the seasons. That's what tropical is, seasons, seasonal. the 4 points. But if you're born in Australia or New Zealand or Chile, your springtime is in September. So now your first month is September, not March. I covered this in the cosmic timelines. I think it's important for us to recognize both of the tropics instead of just, what we normally do is we program to say, yeah, March is springtime. No, it's not springtime in Australia. It's fall time. So if we're going to get good at this, and we're going to respect and we're going to pay homage to both sides, September and March are the first months for each respected tropic. That means that September, technically, if you live in Australia, that's month number 1. And October is month number 2. Now that obviously doesn't work with the words octagon, October, and 2. But if you look at it on the astrological map, it does, because Scorpio is house number 8, October, octagon, and Taurus is house number 2. So they work in unison, 2 and 8, 1 and 7, 4 and 10. They cross-reference each other. But anyway, in the Tropic of Cancer, March would be the first month. October is the 8th month. So this is what I call the solar life path. And I've done countless readings now for people. And of course, one of the things we talk about is your life paths. Talk about the Gregorian, and we talk about the solar, the sun life path. And I can tell you, for the most part, there is a higher percentage of people that resonate more with their solar life path than with their Gregorian. Okay, that's just the way it works, man. Myself included. So this may be an adjustment that you have to look at as well. But people ask, well, which is it? It's both. You're an onion, man, and all these layers of the onion that you have to consider. It's not just like off and on. It's not black or white when it comes to the narration of your life and your journey. There are many moving parts. Even with the personality types, if you're a fan of the Briggs-Myers, I can tell you right now, I am not like my main dominant personality type is right now, and it wasn't this way always, is an INTP. But I also am an INFP. And sometimes I can be an ENTP. The E and the I are just introvert, extrovert. So when you start to read from these characteristics, you're going to see like, wow, I really resonate with that one, but that's not what my results came back as. So this is what going to the Spotlight course that I got coming out, this will alleviate that. Well, you won't have to worry about the middle ground. I mean, the variances. It will be one way, and you'll be able to dictate and narrate it by way of how you see your life. If you're going to decode people with it, that may be a little different, because then you're going to go on averages. You can't just say, well, maybe they're a blend of this or maybe they're a blend of that. Like, that's going to maybe come down to them saying so. Genie, alchemy, have I gotten into graphology? Have not really got into that. Palmistry, not really gotten into that. So no, I haven't. I think it's interesting though, especially palmistry is really interesting. What's up, Hail Metallica? Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. I just want to let you know, man, I do receive your messages here. But I will let you know, I don't take any credit for any of this stuff, man, because I know it's not me doing it. I don't, where's this coming from? I don't know, maybe my representative, maybe the higher self, maybe the divine's using all of us, and it has the ability to do that, or maybe it assigns spirit guides or angels or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I made this a long time ago. I made these shirts, they're called, I wear them sometimes. It says Watcher on it, right? So, because I think the story is really cool. And the Watchers, if you read about that story in the Nag Hammadi and the Book of Enoch, and then in the Torah, this is different text now, right? This is where the sons of God were on the earth, and they were the Watchers, and they were kind of like the guardians, the shepherds of humanity. They're supposed to be taken care of, watching over. And then as the story goes, they had lust and desire for the women. It's like, dangling a freaking candy bar in front of a little kid, I would imagine. And then the rest is history with that. Now, is that absolutely true? I don't know. But I just think the story is really cool. So I just always resonated with that, being tied to something like that. And so I take no credit for any of what you're seeing. The only thing I can take credit for is the hours that I spend, which I spend a ridiculous amount of hours in front of the computer with the graphics, creating the graphics. I know I use a lot of AI art, yeah, but then there's a lot of compiling of it. There's a lot of fading, and there's a lot of adjusting and leveling out and color saturations. And so now the artistry comes in. So yeah, but those are things that I've been learning and practicing for a very long time, right? Self-taught, all that kind of stuff. Saved by Man is asking, who's older, you or your sister? My sister was born on January 31st, 1972. She is a year and 4 days older than I am. Now get this. If you want to see a scripted reality, I'll give it to you right now. I'm going to get some oohs and ahs here. Let me just get this. So you can see how ridiculously scripted my life is. And there's just no doubt about it. So my sister was born a year and 4 days before me. Okay? We're both Capricorn sons. And what the hell is it? Hang on. Am I missing it? Just give me 1 second. Because it's going to be better to see it with the visual. There it is. My sister was born on the 31st. Got these fun little kitty flashcards. So there's my sister, 31st. Now let me digress and tell you, my last name from my father is Payette. Pie. Okay? My last name is Payette now. My sister has the 31st for her birthday. And what's my birthday, everybody? The 4th. Well, what happens when you take 31 and you put it together with the 4? Isn't that pi right there? That's my sister and my birthday. My sister's birthday and mine. My only sister. And our last name is Payette? Come on, man. Scripted reality, man. I mean, that's why when I pump videos out, I get really passionate. People get rubbed the wrong way. They get turned off. Some people, I get the haters. Because some people say, oh, you think you know everything. I know nothing. It's not me doing it. But I definitely will never accept your truth and try to talk me out of what I already know and what I see. And I already have the proof. And I don't like using that word proof. But I have a stack of material, discovery, that I could take to a court of law, and I would demolish anybody that tried to debunk it and dismiss it. And I don't do any of that kind of stuff. Not interested. I don't need to do it. That's ego. I trying to be better. I don't care. I already know. And when you know, you stop believing. See, Pisces is I believe. Aquarius is I know. Big difference. I know. I stopped believing a long time ago. I just now know. And a lot of you also know. It is French. It's French Canadian. My dad's mother, my grandmother was German, so I have half German in there. My mother's maiden name is Lebec, so my grandfather on my mother's side has French. My grandmother has Cherokee Indian, or Creed Indian or something like that. I don't know, a little bit of that. My grandmother looked Indian a little bit, so I don't know. Whatever. I'm a mutt, mixture of things. Lithuanian supposedly. I don't know. Whatever. Well, Stormy, if I decode yours, I have to decode I'm going to get a lot of people. So I would encourage you here. I'll put it in the chat. I would start with your card. It's all in the cards.com. If you don't know what your card is, there's the website. If you don't know what your card is, you can go look at the card chart here, right? For your birth card. So March 15th is the 8 of diamonds. Same birth card as Jason Brashears from Archaics. He was born on June 9th right here. Jason from Archaics. So I'd encourage all of you, what is your birth card? These are tied to the 52 weeks of the year, 4 suits, 4 seasons, 52 cards, 52 weeks. The ace through king is 13 cards. There are 13 weeks per season. I mean, this is an oracle. And you know what the Ra says in the Law 1? That the cards came from Venus. So you should know what your birth card is, and then you can go to itsallonthecards.com, this website right here. Sharon's website, and just click on your birthday right here. March 15th, 8 of diamonds, and read about it. And I'll bet that about 90% of this will be accurate for you, if not more. Okay? I mean, the diamonds means I want. You want some kind of materialism, and you're willing to work for it. That's why it says you have the ability to draw money to yourself with ease. Okay? Any 8 is the Taurus field, which means power. Power and money. Power and materialism. Right? If you're part of the 8 club, I'm an 8 of spades. So I'm part of the 8 club. So I would encourage you to look at your birth card and read it, and I'll bet that you'll be like, wow, this is pretty accurate shit. Yeah, DJ D's, if you want to know the 2 of spades, go to it's all in the cards and read about it, man. Twos, if you're a 2, that means you work in partnerships. It can be a highly mystical card because it's the swords, the spades. Spades are I am. It represents spirituality. Spades, I'll go through these one by one, and I'll do a general overview for all of you, whatever suit you are, and you'll know. And then we'll talk about the numbers, okay? This card right here, if you're a heart, forget about the 5. If you're a heart, I feel. How do you navigate through life? With my feelings. I navigate through and I want to feel. This card right here, if you're a 5 of hearts, man, you have a restless heart. Not satisfied. Why? Because the 5 senses are never satisfied. Then the hearts goes into clubs. And the clubs, I think. I feel, therefore I think. So your primary in life, if you're a club, is you're a thinker. Then you go into the diamonds. The diamonds are materialism. So if you have a diamond in your birth card, as your birth card, I want things. I need security. This is the card of security. 4 is the box, the cube. And when you add a diamond to it, it means money or materialism. So I want a square. I want to box in. I want to have financial security. 4 of diamonds. 4 means stable. 4 blood types. 4 elements. 4 corners of the earth. 4 seasons. Stable. Diamonds, money, financial stability. Then you finally get to the spades, which is what my primary driver is. My birth card is now you get I am. Because when you go all the way down, this is the swords in the tarot. When you go all the way down to reach matter and you hit this body called matter, you now want to go back up, which is why when you look at the hearts, let me get another one. I dropped that guy. When you look at the hearts and you look at the spade, you see how the symbols are reversed? One's pointing down, one's pointing up. Because the heart wants to go down and play the game, the spade wants to go back up and go back to source. I am. Because it goes all the way through the channels of fire, air, water, and then it hits the earth, and then it realizes, well, shit, well, now I got to go back up. I went through all the channels. So these are the most spiritual cards. So if you're a 6 of spades, right? Then you just take this number. What does the number 6 mean? Legacy, masterpiece. It's a cosmic parent energy. It's the element, it's the sign of Virgo. It's the snake in Chinese. There's a lot of transformations. There's a lot of giving to people. So when you're a 6 of spades, man, you're that cosmic parent, but you're a high degree of spirituality. So you may be somebody that gives a lot of spirituality to people. Or transitioning. You may, in the tarot, it's moving across the water, getting away from, you're going to calmer waters. So the 6 is like, well, I don't like this water that I'm in. I'm going to go. And so this is why it's the snake in Chinese, because it sheds skin, transformation. The 6, the spades. So those are the suits. And all you got to know is what your card number is. If you're an ace, you're a leader. You're a beginner. You start everything off. If you're a 2, this is duality, working in partnerships. 3 means expansion. If you're a 3, 4 means stability. 5 means manifestation and getting busy with it and never satisfied and variety and change. 6 is family and settling down and creating your masterpiece. 7 is relationships. 7 is balance. Number 8 is power. Number 9 is the hermit and the higher mind and philosophy. And then you finally get to number 10, which is the completion of all the numbers. So it's the highest form when you go ace through 10, and then you get into the royal cards, the knight, the queen, and the king. And you separate those 3 core cards. Because the knights, if you're a jack, which is what we're moving into for the age of Pisces, we're going to be ruled over by jacks, which are the princes. So it's not as a mature energy as the kings or the queens. It can get a little bit, dicey. But it has a lot of ambition, the jacks do. That's why if you start to watch these movies on the shows, you'll see a lot of jacks. We're leaving the queen energy from Pisces. We're moving into the jack energy of Aquarius. So that's how simple the cards are. And then you have your spirit card. And when you graduate and refine yourself, for some of you, you'll leave behind your birth card and you'll move into your spirit card. Many of you already have done that. Yeah, man, the cards, They're so, it takes practice, of course, but if you're somebody who wants to learn the esoteric, just start with numerology. That would be my recommendation. You start with numerology, you learn the numbers 1 through 10. That's all you need to know. All you have to do is study 10 numbers. I have a numerology page on the Cosmic Sugar. It tells you the liabilities and assets of each number. What planet it's being ruled by, what its primary color is, using the color spectrum. And once you know the liabilities and assets of each number, you can go to the next move into the houses of astrology. Now you got the houses number 1 through 10, then you just add on the 11 and 12, which I have on the Cosmic Sugar website as well. Now you have the idea of how these houses work in astrology. And then it becomes really easy after that. Wolfgang Waters, 7 of diamonds. Yeah, so sevens work. Sevens are the intermediary between the two, as above, so below. You work for the crown. You're in the crown position, right? So the crown chakra. 7 of diamonds, of course, it means I want. But it's a very spiritual card because it sits in between the as above and so below. So it has to use judgment. And in the tarot, it's the card to give you the idea. For the 7 of Pentacles, 7 of diamonds, is this one right there. So this is like God sweeping up this is you now. You'd be sweeping up all of your possessions, and you got to figure out through your entire life what's important, what's not important. Sharon calls this card the card in between the spirit, the mastery over the spiritual and the physical. Because if you're, it doesn't matter if you're a 7 of spades, 7 of diamonds, 7 of clubs, 7 of hearts, you sit at the crown position. And the suit will dictate where you're going to navigate your life. Like Jordan is a 7 of diamonds from Waters Above. He was born on March 16th. I mean, that should give you a little bit of hint on things, but it's not the be all end all. 7 of diamonds is a very special card because its only counter card is the 9 of hearts. The 7 of diamonds is a card that naturally sits in the Saturn and Venus line if you flip the spirit and the life spread. There are only 2 spreads that govern the cards: the master life, the master ego spread, and then I call it the handler spread. The spirit, the handle that runs you and operates you. And the 7 of diamonds and 9 of hearts, they flip-flop every year. Every year they flip. They exchange between Venus and Saturn. This is love and time. Love stuck in time. Saturn and Venus, Aphrodite. This is tied to Jesus. Jesus having that 33, the 7 of diamonds is the 33rd card in the deck. Again, you're evaluating what is important to you physically because you have a diamond card, which is I want, but you're working for the crown. So you're like, well, what is mine? And then your spirit card's the 9 of hearts, which is wish fulfillment. That is the Pandora's box card. That is the Venus card. 9s mean acid. On the periodic table, 9 is fluorine. And fluoric acid is what corrodes. Fluorine is acid. And what corrodes, man? Attachment. And you have love and time. Corrosion. And the 7 of diamonds is arsenic, which is poison. So right then and there, we can take chemistry, combine it with the cards and the planetary positions. We have Venus, love, Saturn, time, love stuck in time. And what happens when you have love stuck in time? It will die. The acid. 9 is the 9 of hearts, which is acid. 7 of diamonds is arsenic, which is poison. So literally the two cards that represent partially the Christ energy is acid and poison. That's what the human being experience is all about. If you have a card that sits in one of these specific spaces, each planet, Poseidon has a Poseidon card. Uranus has a Uranus card. Saturn has a Saturn card. Jupiter has a Jupiter card. Their card that is assigned to them. If you have one of those, then you have a lot of energy with that planetary influence. And then if you go to your astrological chart and you see it in the astrological chart, well then, and you got a lot of influence, and especially if you have like a stellium or if you have something conjunct, now you're talking about it. This is why we need to start looking at all the signs, and then we take the playing cards and put them in there, and now we have a lot of energy that we can start talking about. And this is where we can get really detailed with somebody's chart on how they're coded. So we got Regina. What's up? Regina's 7 of clubs. Omega's a 7 of clubs. Yeah, so again, forget about the suit. You're a 7. 7s work for the crown. The day of rest and reflection. Well, the club suit is I think. So you're constantly going to be somebody who analyzes life more than the average person, because you're the 7 of clubs and you work for the crown and you think. So you're constantly scanning things around and you're like a cosmic analyst. And of course that correlates to all the 7s sit in the house of Libra, which is the scales of justice. That's what the crown has to do, is balance everything out. So the 7 of clubs is a thinking card. In the tarot, you have a dude. See if I have it handy. It's not so easy getting through all these cards, burdening you with watching me do this. It's like watching the grass grow. But I find it, I find it really interesting, the 7 of clubs, the 7 of wands, because it is a card, an energy of standing your ground, sometimes saying no, being able to sit there and say, I'm not going to do that. This is the 7, if you're a 7 of clubs, this is the 7 of clubs, the 7 of wands. See, this person standing there, and what they wanted to get across, Rider Waite and Pamela, who designed the cards, they wanted to, like the wands that are coming at that person, this is like persecution. These are thoughts. Because you're the crown. And this dude's right here, like, don't tread on me. Don't tread on me. So you could have some energy where you're an activist, or you're somebody who doesn't like to follow the norm. 7 of spades, the same way, but the 7 of spades is a spiritual card, so it could be a huge advocate for the church. The 7 of spades energy can. It can defend the church. It can go in there and be a defender of the church. And the sevens are pawns on the chessboard. The ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, those are all pawns that sit in the front that start the game off. And then you have the rooks, the castles, which are the 10s, the bishops are the 9s, the knights are the jacks, queen and king are self-explanatory. The strongest piece is the queen, obviously, the females, but it's the masculine that oversees the entire simulation. All the kings sit in the middle of the zodiac wheel. They don't sit in a specific house. They sit in the middle. The queens represent, if you're a queen, you represent Pisces. If you're a jack, Aquarius. If you're a 10, Capricorn. 9, Sagittarius. 8, Scorpio, and so on and so forth. All right, let me give you a few sneak peeks and just show you the ridiculousness of our reality. We got a good amount of people here, so I think we do. How many people we got in here? Okay, so let's do a little sneak peek. Here we go. So I got this coming out. You know, this is kind of the theme of tonight. And I know this is going to offend some people. I don't know why. This is just my art. And I'm not even in control anyway. But the smiley face, you know, I was born on a Sunday. I have so many ties to the Christ, it's ridiculous. My mother's middle name, my father's middle name is Mary and Joseph. I was 6 pounds, 6 ounces. That's 66. I have so many ties to it, and yet I don't follow it to the way the church wants you to follow it. But the Christ represents love and light. Okay, that's what it represents. And so this image here is obviously about YouTube. Because the one that started it all off, obviously, the most famous iconic figure in the world is the Christ, in theology anyway. Other cultures, you have Krishna and Shiva, Ahura Mazda, you know, you still have Horus and Set and Osiris. You still have all those big ones as well in those cultures. If you're not living in those areas, you won't see it. But in the Western world, in the Europeans, this is a big deal right here. And the smiley face represents the sun. That's why I have it as my logo. But YouTube, I'm just going to show you the astrological chart, and you can see how ridiculously scripted this whole thing is and what it's all about. Actually, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to show you something. I'm going to start here. This is the very first video that YouTube ever came out with. And it was put out by Jawed Karim, who was one of the 3 founding members of YouTube. They've already sold it off to Google. But this was the very first video that was uploaded on April 23rd. The very first one. Okay, he did it at the zoo. Meet me at the zoo. Well, you know why? Because we're in the zoo. We're in the So Below. We are the zoo. And we're being watched. We're being controlled. See, this day on the calendar, this was not a leap year. 2005 was not a leap year. So it's the 113th day of the year. And you know what that is? It's role play. It's this. It's role play, man. Which I've already covered in my Let's Talk About Everything Happens for a Reason. Everything happens for a reason because we're being role played. And this incident right here was no exception. Because we're going down into another fractal now. Now we're creating a secondary fractal. We're creating our So Below. We are now broadcasting ourselves, and we're putting ourselves inside the computer and the cell phone, and we're digitizing ourselves. Exactly what the As Above did with us. We become its YouTube. We are the As Above's YouTube, you see. And we're in the zoo. That's why this video was put out, Meet Me at the Zoo. And when I go through this whole thing, okay, your mind's gonna be blown because it's ridiculous. I have all these slides, but here is the astrological chart of when this thing came out. On April 23rd, 2005, it uploaded the video at 8:27 a.m. in San Diego. The card that represents the official video on YouTube is the Jack of Clubs. This is the 24th card in the deck. This is the Knight, the Jack. And this energy is a Uranus-Venus energy. Uranus means heaven. Venus is spirit into matter. Okay? Now, I don't know if they are playing with the cards, if they're using astrology, but they were 3 young kids that did this. And my final answer is they weren't using this. They were just following their destiny. And this is how we're able to reverse engineer it. This is the card of YouTube, the Jack of Clubs. And this is its spirit card, the Jack of Diamonds, card 37. And it just so happens that it's the card of February 14th, which is the day they registered the www.domain for YouTube. They registered it, the 3 founding members, on February 14th, which is Valentine's Day, Venus, love. And it's the 45th day of the year, Pandora's box. What do you think Pandora's box is? YouTube, because you watch it on the box. And we're in Pandora's box, being watched by the as above. This is the tarot card. Card number 34. It's tied to the moon. Selenium. This is the card of YouTube. Well, when you go to the chart, and this is exact because this is 8:27 in the morning, the big takeaway is the sun and Aphrodite, Venus, conjunct in the 11th house of Aquarius, which is social circles, social media. And Venus is spirit into matter. Spirit into matter. In the sign of Aries, which is, I want you to see me. This is creating the identification. This is the desire to upload the video. Look at me, look at me. People are uploading their videos on YouTube so they can broadcast themselves. Well, that's what the divine's doing. It's broadcasting itself, and it's broadcasting you. And this is the so below that we've created now. We start broadcasting ourselves. And it's in Aries, which is ruled by Mars. The Mars is over in the career position, which is about forming the relationship with time. Because Mars rules Aries. But it's in the 11th house, and look at what's here. The desire of Rahu, the north node of the moon. And it's in the mystical sign of Pisces. A very funky place to have this for the starting point of YouTube, but it is the spirit of the human being. We're all born from the Piscean age. It's even the Mercury was there. Your messages as a human being, this is human being right here, is being now broadcasted and being put into, this is the big one, Uranus. Because Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. And Uranus is the owner of all the jacks, because the jacks are all in the sign of Aquarius. I don't care where they're at in the card system. The Jack of Clubs is this is a Uranus-Venus card, folks. And it sits in, all the jacks sit in the sign of Aquarius. So Aquarius, when they broadcasted the first video and uploaded it on April 23rd, they broadcasted it with these layers. And it's so easy to see it, man. So simple to see it. And Venus is tied to the Christ. That's why I have this. The fame monster. That's what that is. So the last one I'll give you is that, you see, we're entertainment. Entertainment, that's what we are. 50. This is card number 50. Another Jack, another Aquarian energy. And Jesus' first entrance on the stage is Isaiah 7 verses 14, where he's called Emmanuel in Hebrew. You see, and that's 62 for the numerology in the original Hebrew, and it goes right to the Jack of Swords, which is the card that comes from the Jack of Spades. This is an Aquarian card. And you see, Jesus in the Greek, he says, I am the bright morning star. Yeah, that's Emmanuel. That's this. Because Jesus comes in the age of Pisces. And he says, my kingdom is no part of this world. Because he was telling you that he's going to be the ruler of, the prince of the age of Aquarius. And the 50th element on the periodic table, the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz, looking for its heart. That's why Jesus is all about love. And so now you have YouTube, where there's so many people, billions and billions of people using this, broadcasting themselves. Well, see, the image here is what I'm trying to get across, as that Jesus becomes what Lady Gaga calls the fame monster. That's what he becomes. Okay? That's exactly what he becomes. Now, Let me shift over to this, and I'll give you a little tidbit on this one. So you can see with your own two eyes as well the connections. And so this has kind of puzzled me for a long time. A long time, this scripture. I've been studying it, trying to make sense of it. And Jesus clearly says that he is the offspring of David. Now, we got to figure out what David is. It could be serious. Absolutely, it could. That's what I'm leaning towards, that it's David and it's serious. But he clearly says that he's the bright morning star. Well, we already know the star. The star is right here. In the Greek, it's 62. It's Emmanuel. And it's the star of the show. That's why I have the cameras here. Okay? That's what these references mean. And you become the Christ. But you see, it's Venus, so it's the love of the game, man. The bright and morning star. There it is in the Greek, man. Revelation. This is the original scripture now. From the original language. Bright morning star. Those are the three big takeaways. And there was the huge humdinger, which I've already released on the Patreon, so I'm giving you a nice little gift here. That this numerology from the original Greek is one digit off from the number 263, which represents the number of days Venus is visible in the sky in each of its two phases. How about that? Now, if you want to tell me that this isn't a freaking humdinger match, man, with him saying this, and Venus is, what does it mean? Love. This star right here ushers in the sun. This is at dawn. And now you get Lucifer. And Lucifer's phosphorus, which is tied to Venus as well. But this is what it's all about. The Ankh, which predates the cross. This means eternal life. And so does this. This promises you eternal life, which is reincarnation. And so does this, because this is the bright morning star. This is your cross. This is a Roman construct now. If you go to the Greeks, you'll remove that T junction. It will just be a single, it's called the Stavros. And I'm going to explain why that is in this upcoming decode. So there you go, folks. There's no questions anymore. Not like, well, but the big thing I don't have a final answer on is what David is. Okay, I don't, and I know that you can go to the Star of David, and you can get into that, but I'm unsure on what that will be just yet. But now you know, and if this is the first time that you're seeing it, well, now you know, and there's no more guessing. Not with those synchronicities. And so when you go and you watch the church, the Catholic Church, and you watch them sing and they add Lucifer in the song with Christ your Son, it takes on a whole different meaning, and it completely takes on a whole different meaning when you take Isaiah 14 verses 12, what Lucifer means. Because it's not just Lucifer, it's Lucifer Ben, whatever it is. The full numerology of that is 104 in the Hebrew. It's not just Halil, it's Halil Ben, whatever it is. It's 3 words. The Masoretic text is 3 words. I'm just, now again, can I say that with absolute certainty? I'm just regurgitating it. But I can tell you right now, phosphorus and Lucifer are tied to Jesus. And how long I've been saying this without even knowing this information. I didn't have this knowledge. But now we have it. And what better planet representing the Christ, or I should say Jesus, because I think that Jesus is Venus and Christ means Christ is not even his name, it's a title. Jesus, which is Jesus, that is his name, but it is not Christ. Christ is a title. It means anointed. It means Krio. It means gold. It means the sun. So is it possible that Jesus is not the sun? He is Venus, and he ushers in the sun, which he becomes anointed because Venus is the rising star, and it ushers in the new beginning, the rising of the sun. Well, more to come on that, but I'm getting down to it, and I will figure it out. I will be able to give you my final answer on that. And again, this is not, some of you saying Manly P. Hall, Helene Blavatsky, she kind of alluded to it. But I'm telling you right now where I stand, Jesus is Venus and Christ is not Venus, it's the sun. Christ is the sun, which is a title. It is not Jesus. Jesus is not Christ. Christ means the anointed. You are anointed. So Venus has the spirit into matter symbol, as does Mercury. And I think there's a possibility that Jesus is both Venus and Mercury. The messenger. That's what Jesus was. But that's where my current level of understanding is right now, is that there is no doubt that when Jesus says, I'm the bright morning star, that's Venus. And I don't think there's any question that he's not Christ. Christ is a title. He got the title Christ because Christ is the sun, tied to the sun, and the sun shines on Venus as it ushers in. It's the heralder of the sun, the rising of the sun. But what is David? And I'm leaning towards Sirius. I'm leaning towards Sirius. Yeah, so Venus is a very big deal. And as I just showed you with the YouTube, man, Venus was conjunct with the sun. In Aries, in the 11th house of Aquarius, when they released the first YouTube video, Broadcast Yourself. What do you think Spirit's doing with you and I? It's broadcasting itself. We are being broadcasted. And when you take your phone and you record yourself, when you go on your little adventure and you got your walking stick and you're talking in front of the kid, you're broadcasting yourself. You're being a little fame monster, as Lady Gaga called it. That's what Jesus is, the fame monster, the most famous monster. So we end up brought, and what is YouTube? Y and T. Go watch the Scripted Reality 29, Y and T. That's Jesus on the cross. YouTube, broadcast yourself. It's all astrological. So we put it into stories with languages, and there's many stories, but it comes down to astrology and astronomy and all that. That's really what it comes down to. And it always has come down to that. It's just that people, it's so abstract and so much information there that we want to create a story. So we bring it down and we create the stories of how people will relate to that. That's why we make theatrics. That's why we do plays. We tell stories through the plays. We tell stories through screenplays and movies and TV shows. So Genie Alchemy says, spirit into matter, Venus, the bringing together of spirit. So yeah, Libra, but I think, Dr. Danny and I had said this on the Patreon, that Virgo is traditionally Mercury, but I'm not so sure. Like Dr. Danny, I swear she says that Virgo is Venus energy, and I'm really liking that more than I do the Mercury. Because when you take Venus and you add it to Virgo, that's the mother. You know, Mother Mary, the Queen of Heaven. Virgo being the largest constellation. Across from Pisces, the fish. You know, Mercury doesn't really give birth like Venus could do. So it's possible that Venus is actually the ruler of Virgo and not Mercury. But that would change a lot of things. But I there is some postulation for that. So. Yeah, I know Virgo is Mercury traditionally, but I'm challenging that because I think it needs to be challenged. And I think there's nothing wrong with challenging that, especially as we synchronize these layers more and more and more. You know, like I've been saying for a long time that Lucifer is the sun. And I still think that may be a possibility. But Lucifer is also tied to Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky. So it's really hard to support opinions on these celestial activity positions because we just take what's been given to us. But when you add in numerology and you start to add in the tarot and the playing cards and pi and phi and the sine and cosine waves, then you start to have a much clearer. And if you're not using these things, then, you know, don't just dismiss it. You know, because every time you add a layer on to the esoteric, to your research, things become clearer and clearer and clearer. And they go beyond the stories that we just have regurgitated from square one, from time one. Neo-analogism. Virgo is not the Hermit card, brother. That's the Lover's card. Virgo is the Lover's card because Virgo is the 6th sign and the Lover's card is card number 6. The Hermit is Sagittarius. Card number 9 sits in the 9th house of Sagittarius, and that is because the ruler of Sagittarius is Zeus, who's the smartest planet because he's about expanding things. He's the biggest place, the king of the Olympians. So the Hermit is card 9. It sits in Sagittarius energy, which rules your higher mind. That's the smartest energy. Virgo is the Lover's card. Card number 6. The last day of creation in Judeo-Christianity is day number 6. That's Adam and Eve. That's right on the Lover's card. That's Virgo. Virgo is the virgin, the mother, queen of heaven that gives birth to things, the cosmic parent. The Magician is card number 1, Aries. High Priestess, card number 2, Taurus. Card number 3, Gemini, Empress, the twins, Castor and Pollux. Card number 4, Emperor, sits in Cancer, ruling with the emotions of the moon. Card number 5, the Hierophant, the sun, the lion, the dragon in Chinese, and so on and so forth. But I see your point. I mean, again, you know, Virgo, Mercury, the traditional ruler of Virgo has been Mercury. So, I mean, you're not going to get any debating from me on that. I mean, I totally have been saying this for the longest time. I'm also a fan of that position, but I also think that we need to start looking at other avenues that synchronize maybe a little bit more than just the average throwing out there of like, you know, Mercury is the traditional ruler of Virgo. I mean, you know, Mercury fits Gemini really well. Yes. Because that's tech and communication and creativity and all that kind of stuff. But Virgo definitely has a layer of Venus to it, a lot of Venus energy. I mean, that is the legacy masterpiece energy. And if you have heavy Virgo energy, you're probably a perfectionist. You probably critique the world around you because you don't want to lose the perfection. Right? That's the Lover's card in the tarot. That's the paradise. It doesn't want to lose the paradise. That's what the essence of the paradise means. Yeah, Jeannie makes a good point. And also we can add in that, there is a postulation, a big one, that why Mercury is the traditional ruler of Virgo, because let me just do the graphics because it's easier to pull it up. When you go to the tarot and you look at the cards, on this card, the serpent is right there. And, the serpent is tied to the Chinese, of course, the snake, right? The snake is sign number 6. But Mercury is the trickster. And so Mercury has a lot to do with the serpent. And as I put out in the Pope Leo Decoded, I talked about how the woman is Virgo, the serpent is the snake, and the snake can be traditionally tied to Mercury because Mercury is the traditional ruler of sign number 6. So yes, the postulation and the ideas here strongly fit the mercurial energy for sure. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I like both of the positions here, but yeah, neo-analogism. I don't go with that system that you're using. I don't use that. It doesn't. See, I'm a simple code breaker. So I think nature, and if you study the golden ratio and pi and sine and cosine waves, it uses simplicity. When you have a 1 and a 1, you move them together, they partner up, right? They synchronize together. So the first house of astrology traditionally is Aries. Well, the card that has a big fat 1 on it is the Magician. A lot of people put the Fool in that position. Well, the Fool's got a big fat 0 on it. You know where the Fool goes? In the middle of the cards, in the middle of the chart, along with the Death card. So I don't follow that. You're talking about using the Kabbalah system and tying it to Yod and Hesed and all that stuff in that tree of life. I don't really follow that system. That goes way off in left fields, and that's a system of magic. But if you just simplify your life and you look at the cards and you realize, well, they're all numbered and all the houses of astrology are numbered, it makes a heck of a lot more sense than trying to fit it into all those other layers that really kind of go way off in a different place. So, but the Fool is card 0, and it will always be card 0. You could say it's the first, absolutely, but it will always be a 0. Everything emanates from the 0, but it is not counted as card number 1 because that's why it has a 0 on it. If it was the number 1 card, the Magician wouldn't have the number 1 on it. Fool is the 0, and the 0 comes before anything else. It's the emanation. It's the womb, the portal. So it goes in the center of the zodiac wheel. That's why if you have 78 cards, if you put the Fool in the center and you emanate them all the way like that, they all evenly get put. They all have 6 cards on each house. It's even in the middle. 6 times 13 is 78. You have all the cards perfectly dispersed around the zodiac wheel. The Fool goes in the center. He doesn't get moved into the first position unless you use another system. But I don't use that. I don't use that system. But if you, that's totally, it doesn't matter what your age is. You're 25, great. I mean, I wish I was studying this stuff at 25, really. So I commend you for being here, that you're studying this stuff. So just keep doing that. I mean, listen, there's no wrong path in this. So if you study the Kabbalah system, which I decoded Kabbalah, and you start studying Ein Sof and the path of mercy and all the things, that's their system, how they emanate it. And then somebody one day attached the cards to them, and they're all over the place. Well, I don't really use that system, but I do use astrology, and I like to just simplify and connect 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4. For instance, when you do it the way I'm telling you, and there are 12 and 13 goes in the middle, right? Then, and this may be something new because this is what we hear with the tarot, especially if you go and you listen to most tarot readers. I don't really listen to a lot of tarot readers because most of them are tropical based astrology, which I think again is not accurate to the accuracy of the canopy of the above. But, and you're going to hear a lot of them say, oh yeah, Pluto's in Aquarius. No, it's not. It's in Capricorn. So that throws it off. That just completely eliminates that reading right away. I don't have a liking for that. But when you take this card right here, this guy, the devil, you're gonna hear people say, "Oh, Capricorn." That's what you hear. Oh, Capricorn, you got a Capricorn. And there's truth to that because that's what people have been saying for magic for so long. But where would card number 15 sit in the zodiac wheel if you go all the way around and you keep spiraling out? This card would sit in the sign of Taurus. I mean, does Taurus have 2 horns on its head? Does that have 2 horns on its head? Taurus is ruled by what? Venus. What is Venus? Love, which is acidic. That's this. That's those 2 people chained to the block. Taurus, you would never think it'd be a devil card, but card number 13, which is the death card, sits in the middle of the astrology chart, as does the Fool. And then card 14, Temperance, goes back out to Aries. And then card 15 is Taurus. This is a Taurian energy because Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus wants to have it all. She wants the silver and the gold and the silk sheets and the lust and this. And that's what gets you chained to the block. For me, this is a Taurus card. It's not a Capricorn card. I can see why people, because again, it's a system of magic and it still will always be a Capricorn card because people say it's Capricorn. But I'm trying to get to precision. I'm trying to get to the exacts. Just the simple connections of nature and how it's like 1.6180, 3.144. These are exacts. These are not like, well, maybe. No. These are exacts. Hail Metallica says, why do I resonate but don't understand? Well, you haven't applied it yet. It's not your time. It's not the right time. Maybe you just need to put more time into it. Well, I'll go through these. Someone's asking, let me just do it so you can see them. I know I have to keep finding them. I'm just going to do it digitally. So this card right here, the Fool, is in the center of the astrological chart, in the dead center, the 0. And then he's like, I want to go play. So now you go to Aries, and now Aries is the magician. Why? Because now you got to sling your magic. Now it's your identity. You have all the tools on the table here to bring down the energy from the as above, to create your root and your foundation. You become the wizard. Then you go to Taurus energy. And now you start to collect things with the High Priestess. You start to collect knowledge and wisdom. This is a very funky card, man. I'll be honest with you, this doesn't really line up with Taurus energy. It doesn't even resonate with being number 2. It doesn't make any sense other than that there's 2 pillars here. This is the oracle energy. I mean, you could say it's the Taurus field, yes. And you could say that during the Egyptian age, they were in the Taurian age. Yes, okay, cool. But I would completely draw a different card up for this. I wouldn't even sit there with this one. But this right here, Gemini, the twins, Castor and Pollux, the Empress, the queen on the chessboard. She wants to give birth to things. Now it's about communicating and creating and being artistic. House number 4, Cancer, the Emperor, the king of the castle, the emotional king, which can be non-emotional because across the way in house number 10 is Capricorn, which is non-emotional. So you have the yin yang between all these cards if you flip it and you do the symbiotic relationship with them all. House number 5, Leo, the sun, the dragon in Chinese. It's the Hierophant, the sun becoming. They put the Pope on the card, right? The Hierophant, which just means a fancy word for guru. Card number 6, Virgo, the lovers, Adam and Eve, the last day of creation. Ruled by traditionally Mercury, but I think Venus is in there as well. Card number 7, Lib-Ra. The chariot is the chariot that moves across the sky. That's Ra. Lib or Libra. It's Lib-Ra. Ra. Chariot is Ra. And there's your yin-yang balance. The sun setting as it goes down into the underworld. When it goes down into the underworld, you get the strength card, Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by, traditionally, Mars, esoterically, Pluto and Mars. And now you have the seduction of the number 8. The strength card here is because this woman's taming the lion. And this is your mojo. Sex is a big thing with the element of Scorpio and Pluto and Mars. So this is being able to be the master of your domain here, having strength to do that. This is power, straight up power. This is the occult, the esoteric, etc. This is the element oxygen on the periodic table, the air we breathe that keeps you a human being. House number 9, Sagittarius, ruled by Zeus, the king of the Olympians. He gets the smartest card in the deck. Philosophy, higher mind, the aristocrat. It's the element fluorine. See, this is knowledge. Why is the tree of knowledge going to kill you? Because it's acidic. What does acid do? What does knowledge do? You end up becoming aware of what's right or wrong. And that's what it says in the Bible. If you eat from the tree of knowledge, you will positively die, because then you'll know what's right or wrong. Yeah, that's the hermit. You bit the apple, and this is fluorine on the periodic table, and you have fluoric acid, which is corrosive. Knowledge is corrosive. The more you know, the more you realize you know nothing. Okay? Number 10, house number 10, Capricorn. Traditionally, Capricorn gets the Wheel of Fortune. There's the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh right on the card. This is the wheel of samsara, the wheel of time. Stuck in time. Chronos, the timekeeper. Card number 11, Aquarius. This is the card of tonight, Justice. Aquarius is the humanitarian by heart, the one that wants to save the world. The jacks, the knights. The knight on the chessboard is going to be tied right to this justice because they go into battle. And they're very special pieces on the chessboard because they make that L-shaped. Very interesting. Card 12, Pisces, the hangman, right? Faith. We come out head first. Enlightened. We come out this way, head first, in the upside down world. But that's not the upside down world for us. Okay. This is the Piscean energy, the fish, the last of the biology of the body. And then you go back into the middle, and this sits with the Fool. And now you go to Death. And then you got to go to 14, back out to Aries again. This is Aries. Aries means that when you come back out for the second round, you got to be balanced. This is the angel sticking its toe into the water. Aries is the rising of the sun. This is the sun sticking its toe into the water and saying, I'm here and I'm balanced because I just came out from the underworld because I'm in the first position. This is the dawn sticking its foot into the water. Temperance means balance. But then you go into the luxuries of Taurus, and now you become the devil again because now you want it all. Venus wants to have everything. And then you just keep going. This is Gemini, the tower. Gemini's the prison. Gemini's Castor and Pollux. This would become Cancer. The star is born. This correlates to the moon being the portal to get in here. The cow's bladder in Hinduism, right? This being ruled by Cancer, the star. Then you move into the sun. The sun directs its light into the moon. This would become the sign of Leo. And then this becomes the sign of Virgo. And this becomes right there on the back of that card. Virgo, Virgo. The sun is right there on the Virgo card. And you just keep going on and on. Judgment card becomes a sign of Libra. And you got to be balanced. You got to be balanced before you go down into the underworld. And then you just go into 21, and 21 becomes the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio becomes the world card. Okay, and then you go to number 9. You go back to Sagittarius. Go back to Sagittarius. Okay, the Fool's counted twice. You can do it that way, and so on and so forth. So this is one way to do it. But then there's the other way where if you take the card systems, all these aces will go into the sign of Aries. The Ace of Wands, the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Swords. These all, in the traditions of the cards, they all are an Aries card. And I like to do it that way. But if you follow the lineages of the tarot, that's the way you can do it, as you do a spiral all the way around. Oops. Didn't want to do that. Hold on. How did I change my music? I have no idea. Hold on. Let me just get this changed up. Okay. Yeah, the Fool counted twice is confusing, but you don't count it twice. Again, the Fool is that 0, but then it has the hidden mystery of the 22. So if you count the Fool as number 1, then you would have the Ace of Wands as card 23, no matter what. No matter what, it will still do that. The world will be card 22. And that way works. So this is a variance with these tarot cards. There are many ways that you can, as they say, skin a cat. So that's just one way to do it. And then there's the other way where you have Fool number 1, Magician number 2, but Magician doesn't have a 2 on it. It's a 1. So I find it more relieving to do it. Magician is Aries and go all the way around. Brentwood says knights are a symbol of chaos. Yeah, they definitely can be, for sure. I mean, again, if we're going to be following the yugas as we've explained in the cosmic timelines, if you follow the traditional yugas, right? The traditional ways, there are many ways with that. The origination of the yugas, we're in the Kali Yuga stage. Now, is that absolute? Well, no, because there's other people that say that we've ended that. We're moving into the Dwapara, into the Bronze Age. I don't resonate with that one. Because the way they're talking about there is you literally go from spring, you go from winter and you go back into fall and you do the reverse. Through the seasons, spring, summer, fall, and winter, spring, summer, fall, and winter, spring, summer, fall, and winter. So I think we're moving into the winter age of the ages. Mr. Mann says, I thought knowledge is power. It is, but it's also corrosive. Because you can take that knowledge and you can start to wield it over people and use it over people. So it can become very corrosive. So power, the word power, the objective of power, doesn't care what you want to label it or use it as. It's just power. It's like electricity. The outlet that you have in your home, or the outlets that you have in your home that you plug things into, it doesn't care what you plug into it. once you plug something into your outlet, it can charge up anything that will fit in that slot. There are things that you can fit into an electrical outlet that you charge up that can harm people. There are things that you can charge up that save people. So power, the origination of power, the subject of power, doesn't care what you add as an adjective to describe it. Magic is magic. If you want to call it black magic, well, now you're adding an adjective onto the topic of magic. But magic's like, I don't care, I'm just magic. And it's unconditional. These subjects are unconditional, right? You think electricity is conditional? Only if you put like a something in between, a regulator in between. But if you have 110 or 220 coming into your house and where you live at, depending on where you live at, it doesn't care what you plug into the outlet. All it cares about is delivering the electricity of when you plug something into that outlet. Mr. Man, do you like gaming? No, not really. Occasionally, I used to play. I was a big Doom fan when I was growing up as a kid. I say young. The first Doom when it came out, I had that on computer, and I beat the game. I remember beating the game. I used to play Super Mario Brothers when it came out. I had Nintendo. I had Intellivision, ColecoVision, Atari. I had all those. Well, I didn't have we had Intellivision, if I remember. But I used to go. I love going to the arcade with my quarters, but now not so much because I think I'm just more fixated on breaking the code, and code breaking is my game now. Faith says some argue that 8 and 11 were originally switched. Yeah, I think that idea, you're talking about the strength and the justice card. I think you're talking about Aleister Crowley's position on that, because in his deck, in the Crowley deck, you have justice and strength reversed. What does BJ mean on the card on the High Priestess? Boaz and Yachin, which are the two pillars. Californian contrarian, how does a number that goes on forever be exact? It wouldn't, I guess. It's a good question. But if you stop it at a certain position, like sine and cosine waves, I mean, those are very abstract numbers. Pi and phi, they go, Fibonacci, they go on forever. But they're exacts in their positions. 1, 1, 2, 4, 8. These are the progression. They're exact. So if you stop at a certain position, those are exact positions. If you want to carry on for infinity, well, then it becomes everything and nothing at the same time. That's kind of how I would look at it. Jewel of Aquarius says, keep listening, Exit Light. Yeah, if you study the Metallica song, right? Enter Sandman. I mean, James Hetfield is so heavily scripted. A prophet, if you will. Channeling information. Great songs from them. Wherever I May Roam. Sad But True. Go study the lyrics on Sad But True. At the very end of that song, he says, I'm you. I'm your life. I'm the one who takes you there. I'm the pain, make you real. I'm sad but true, I'm you. When you talk about enter Sandman, he says, exit light, enter night. You're going down into duality. You're leaving away the light, purity, and you're going down into the darkness, where then you need a light to play in the darkness. And you could even correlate that to going down into the house of Scorpio when the sun goes into the underworld. But Metallica has Ride the Lightning. So many amazing songs that have so much esoteric information to them. And James Hetfield is a 10 of diamonds. I think he was born August 3rd. Same as Tom Brady. I think James Hetfield, let me just double check. I think James Hetfield is August 3rd. Let me just double check. Or maybe it's the 8 of diamonds. Yeah, August 3rd. He's got the same birthday as Tom Brady. He's got the same birthday as Jim Carrey. I mean, the same birth card as Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, James Hetfield, Tom Brady, Michael Jackson, Prince. 10 of diamonds, 10 of diamonds, 10 of diamonds. Bob Proctor, 10 of diamonds. Fortunate blessings card. All those people are fortunate. Does it guarantee you to be... If you follow Tommy Truthful, born on January 17th, same birthday as Jim Carrey. He's a 10 of diamonds. The great Tommy over at Tommy Truthful. I like Tommy. I think he's a nice guy. He's a good friend. I'm supposed to be doing a podcast with him. I got to actually reach out to him. Mr. Man, how do these rock stars play these such technical solos? Because they have a lot of practice, man. And are they possessed? Aren't we all? Of course we're all possessed. Buckethead's good. He's really, really good. The KFC guy. Really great guitarist. My favorite's Joe Satriani. He's got the King of Clubs card, so I'm a little biased. That's my spirit card. But I think he's probably, him and Steve Vai, they're just amazing guitarists. I think the guitarist from Mastodon is really good. I think the guitarist from, what's his name, from Dream Theater he's amazing. Faith, you must be like smoking too much. Have I heard of the band Villagers of Ione City? I can't even pronounce it. Ione City? Yeah, Age of Aquarius. I played the song so many times on these exits of these. I don't mean to be an ass. I'm having fun. But of course I've heard them. I've supported that band for years now. So many times. Maybe you don't stay around until the end, but where have you been? What planet have you been on? I promoted. I think I played them 2 weeks ago on one of these What's Your Questions. Eddie Van Halen's great. Killer Priest. I got to reach out to. They wanted me to have. I was supposed to be on his show again. He's cool. He's a. What is Killer Priest? I can't remember his birth card. He's a nice guy, though. Him and his DJ. They're good. Dimebag's awesome, yeah. Jeannie says, I call the 10s the connectors. They connect people. Yeah, the 10s are amazing. I mean, they, this is what you can do with the cards as well, folks. You can kind of start, like, if you want to know who you are, why you're here, you study yourself. But then what about your parents? What are your parents' cards? Where you're the offspring of what? So I'll share this with you. A lot of people ask me, I've had so many people ask me to decode me. Well, I have over the years, but I don't care. But I have thrown in some stuff here and there. My parents are a pair of 10s. My mother is August 16th, same birthday as Madonna. My mother's name is Donna. Her middle name's Marie. 10 of clubs, which is the same birth card as Aleister Crowley on October 12th. And then my dad is the 10 of diamonds. And guess what birthday he is? Same as the creator of The Simpsons. Matthew Groening was born on February 15th, same as my dad. My mom and dad are literally born one half of the count. My dad, February 15th, my mom, August 16th. Literally 180 degrees around the circle. They're literally 183, perfectly split a 365. My parents are born exactly the opposite of that. My dad being a true sun Aquarius. Matthew Groening is a true sun Aquarius. So this is what I'm born out of. 2 of the castles on the chessboard. What are your parents? I'm telling you, it's fun to look at that, man. I was just watching a Robert Edward Grant video, he think he's amazing. Big shout out to him. His work is amazing. I love that guy. I hope I get to meet that guy. I want to sit down and I want to spend some research time with that guy. Whoo! Like if I could put a wish out there, yeah, that'd be one of them. Greg Braden as well. I'd love to hang out with Greg Braden. I'd love to hang out with Robert Edward Grant. I think they're just amazing minds. I love listening to them. Anyway, Robert Edward Grant throws this out. He says that his dad is a freak. I don't know. I wish I could find out what his mom is. His dad is a 10 of hearts. December 21st is his father's birthday. The winter equinox. And as he said, the birthday of Osiris. 10 of hearts. Another, the 10s are the castles, the walls. I just wish I could find out. So if any of you know how to get into contact with Robert Edward Grant and can plug me in, I would be appreciative of that. I'm not asking any favors. If it comes along, if it happens, whatever. And same with Greg Braden. I hope I get to meet both of them. I think they're very awesome people. Joe Rogan as well. I would love to meet Joe Rogan because his name is 61, which is Decode Your Reality. He's born on he's 4 diamonds. He's got a lot of 9 energy, super smart, super deep into the esoteric, conspiracy theories. These are the people I like to go have dinner with and have conversations with and talk shop. Joe Rogan, Robert Edward Grant, Greg Braden. And I've decoded all of them. I've decoded Robert Edward Grant, I've decoded Greg Braden, and I decoded Joe Rogan. I've decoded all 3. So, yeah, I would love to go to the pyramids with Robert Edward Grant, but I just want to sit down because he's got a lot of cool content that I've been kind of going over, and I started breaking stuff down, and I'm like, man, I just wish I could do this with him. Whew. Well, maybe someday. But if not, no big deal. I have no expectations. Someone, a client, a friend, someone I did a reading for, emailed, I think it was Robert Edward Grant, or maybe it was Greg Braden. I think it was Greg Braden. Yeah, it was Greg Braden. And she CC'd me on it, but it was an email to, like info at Grant, whatever. And never got anything back. But listen, these people have a lot going on in their lives. I'm a small little French fry, man. Robert Edward Grant has like 180,000. Greg Braden's over 350,000. And Joe Rogan, it's no big deal. The notoriety and all the stuff that comes with that, I could give a shit less. I just want to talk to some smart people. I just want to talk the code, man. Like they're code breaking. I'm code breaking. Let's code break together, man. That's the only thing I would like to do. I could care less about that. Like the thought of doing like a podcast on Joe Rogan. Yeah, it'd be cool. But you know what comes with that? A lot of attention. Because when you put yourself on that podcast, you instantly and automatically are going to get a shitload of people coming at you. Look at what happened with, I would also like Danny, Danny's podcast. He brought Dr. Amon Hillman, and just blew him up. He had a really interesting topic to talk about. And then I decoded Mr. Hillman. Never heard anything back from them guys. Broke him all down. He's another interesting guy to talk to, right? I'd love to sit down and talk with him because they're disruptors. Danny Jones, the Danny Jones podcast. I do that one as well. But that's what comes with this. See, he blew up. Mr. Hillman, he blew up. He got on Danny, no one knew him. And then boom, all of a sudden now, like if you go to, let me see what his channel is. He's probably more than I got now. Not that it matters, but I'm just doing the comparison. Let's see what 666 Babylon is. I don't really follow him, so. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Lady Babylon. What am I doing? Sorry. What is his? 45,000. I remember when he had like 2,000. He's a character, man. I think he's a funny dude. He cracks me up. He's fun. He's entertaining. He is funny dude, man. So anyway, another person I'd love to sit down and have a chat with is Hillman. Danny Jones. Yeah. Well, Danny Jones just for the podcast. But again, what happens when you get on, if you go on Joe Rogan, man, now your pipeline is going to be filled with people that want to get at you. And now your life instantly goes from 0 to 100. I'm telling you what, and what comes, you might as well say goodbye, unless of course, then you got to say no to everything. You got to like turn your phone off and like, I'm not even dealing with this, because once you put it out there and the limelight comes on you, it's going to come, and now you're just going to get bombarded by people that want to do this and do that with you. And there's going to be a shitload of opportunity, and that's how you become the fame monster. I'm honestly, to be honest, I'm not interested in that. I like my quiet, peaceful monk life. I just want to go sit and talk shop with these people, man, that have esoteric knowledge. I'd love to go talk to the Pope. Hell yeah, I'd love to go, the new Pope especially, I'd love to go have dinner with that dude. Because he speaks English, so I don't have to worry about language barrier, and he's been in the St. Augustine, the guy's been in the, man, these are the people you want to talk to. For sure. But it's so hard to get in touch with people to a certain degree. But I haven't tried either. So there's that. I mean, I can honestly say I haven't really tried to get a hold of anybody. I just don't, it doesn't matter. Like, I feel like if it comes, I'm in the flow state. I feel, and I want to tell all of you, that's how I feel you should be. Like, if you just, when you just let go and surrender, everything just comes now. Like, I don't have to, it just comes, and I'm just like, woo, let's just do this, and have a good time. So, oh, I appreciate, Angela says, thank you so much, Angela. I appreciate that. Tammy Lynn, did I miss my answer on Bob Proctor? Bob Proctor, which I'm going to be doing a decode on him, has this channel right here. Well, I'll just type in, if you just type in Born Rich, Bob Proctor. Okay. It's this man right here. These are obviously from the 1980s. They're old. This man right here is one of my mentors. I would say that. Like I met him in person, and I don't get, like, I've been in Hollywood, I've seen stars. I didn't really, but when I met him, man, it was like meeting, you know, the person that you'd be trembling in your boots to meet. I was younger back then. I went to his 30-year anniversary of Born Rich in Los Angeles with my buddy Johnny, and I got to meet with him and talk with him, and he's just an amazing man. He's from Canada, and he teaches better than anybody. If you want to change your life about your thinking, and if you want to change your life, and it's not like not everybody gets rich, because he's a 10 of diamonds. So of course he was supposed to be wealthy and teach wealth. Not everybody, as a matter of fact, the majority of people that follow his material are not going to have the success that he had, because they're not 10 of diamonds. But if you want to change the way you think, well, then you study this material, and you follow part 1. It goes to part 2. They're about an hour and a half long. You go to part 3. You go to part 4, 5. It's about 11 hours, I think. And then you watch it again, and then you watch it again, and then you watch it again. There's a workbook. I even have the original workbook that you can write in and print out. And this course, man, is just sweet, man. And he's a Gemini. Look at this, folks. He's a Gemini sun. What does he look like? Yeah, he's amazing, this guy. His Rahu is in Capricorn. He's just an amazing person. And I don't know, for about a year and a half to 2 years, I just stopped listening to music, and I just listened to audiobooks. And it was him that I listened to. So. Kilt says Joe Rogan is part of the club. Can you elaborate on that? What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. What do you mean part of the club? What club? And can you please tell me how you can support that on whatever club it is? Like, if you're saying he's part of a secret society, can you actually say you have support and evidence to support your claim? Or is this just an opinion that you thought about? And I'm not being an ass. I truly mean that. What is my take on the 9 of clubs? Links. My sister's the 9 of clubs. It's the Wounded Warrior card. It's the Many Lives, Many Masters card. This one. Any 9 means acid. Because the 9 is the forever eternal fire. It never goes out. That's why Venus has the 9 of hearts. Because it's the eternal fire of love that will never go out. Because love and chasing ass and procreation and humping has to be done to keep this game moving forward. That's spirit into matter. That's what Venus. The 9 of clubs, this is a thinking card. Heavy, heavy thoughts, but it's a genius kind of card. It's a Many Lives, Many Masters. If someone has ever told you that you're an old soul, well, if you feel that way, the 9 of clubs. It's the card of the Titan. This is card number 22, but this is the card of recycle. Back, and the 9s mean repeat, 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 repeat. Recycle, reincarnation, redo, religion. Same thing over and over and over. So this is the card that's tied to titanium on the periodic table, the Titans, the sons and daughters of Earth. The ones that have wisdom, that know a thing or two about a thing or two. This card right here is tied to the Queen of Hearts. Your spirit card is the Queen of Hearts, the dreamer. And the Queen of Hearts naturally sits in the Neptune position. But this is this card, your spirit card is the Queen of Hearts, which is if I was the 9 of clubs, if I had your card, I would be doing creative visualization. And if you're a manifesting generator in the human design, holy shit, I would be doing creative visualization. I would be doing vision boards. every 6 months. This is how you strategically play out your life based upon your astrological chart and your card and your birthday and your solar life path and your Gregorian life path and your personality type and your Enneagram and your human design. When you get them all lined up, and your Mayan astrology and your totem pole and your numerology, when you get them all lined up and you study, and then you start to, oh, what am I built for? Well, do you have anything in your 9th house? Where's your Zeus at? Where's your Sagittarius at? All right, Faith, I'm calling you out, man. I don't, where have you been? You've been smoking too much of that stuff, man. What's going on? No, I'm just kidding. Well, part of me is just kidding, but you've been here for a minute. How do you not know what your spirit card is? So these are the 2 charts that are the standardized boilerplate charts for the cards. To the right is the ego card, the master light, the life card, your ego card. Over here, your handler card, your spirit card. So the 9 of clubs right here is paired with, in the same position over here as the Queen of Hearts. This is your spirit card. All you have to do is find the card here and match it up with the card over here. It's that simple. And then the 9 of clubs is in the Venus, love, repeat, and Saturn. So there's karmic love here. The 9 of clubs. Karmic love. This is the card of NASA, the Queen of Hearts, July 29th. They want you to believe in their imagination, their dreams. They just need the magic to get the thing handled. But where the hell have you been, Faith? Oh man, I'm just playing, but you're a pothead. Yeah, well, maybe you need to get off that freaking brain, that cancer stuff. It's rotting your brain. Thought you said you were going to cut back on that stuff anyway. See, I mean, this should just be a sign from the universe. If you can't remember that stuff and you've been here for a minute, I think you need to change a little bit of your pot schedule. I think you need to probably cut back on that a little bit. But hey, what do I know? Don't listen to my opinion, but. Good job, Pam. Pam says, I quit smoking weed again. That's cool. See, I think we need to stop saying that word. I think, honestly, it's kind of like this. When people say, I need to. I need to go on a diet. Or I need to lose weight. Or I need to go to the gym. No, you don't need to. See, when you say, I need to. When you say, I need to. Your body cringes like, ugh. I'm telling you, the body responds by the programming of the things that you've adopted and you say as your magic spells. When you say, I need to, you don't want to. It puts you in shutdown mode. You're not in harmony when you say that. And we're all guilty of saying it. We're in the habit of saying it. What we should be getting in the habit of saying is, I want to go to the gym. I'm looking forward to going to the gym. I'm looking forward to eating better. You know, Bob Proctor talks about this in The Born Rich. He says, you got to stop saying, I need to lose weight. Because when you lose something, what's the first thing that you want to do after you lose it? Actually, no, I'm sorry. It wasn't Bob Proctor. It was Werner Erhard. No, it was Bob Proctor. When you lose your keys, you want to find them. When you lose something, you're on the hunt to find it again. So he goes on to say, no, you want to reduce it. I'm going to reduce my weight. And you don't say, I want to, I'm going to. I'm going to reduce my weight down to this number. Or I'm going to reduce a couple sizes in my waist down to this waist size. And if you want to burn the ships, and what I mean by burning the ships, I'm talking about like you're going on a destination and you have to take a ship to go to the island, and you want to go on this adventure. When you get to the island, you burn the ship. No going back. How do you do that when it comes? So some of you here are overweight and you're not healthy and you're killing your temple and you know you're doing it. But you're not in dire straits with your health just yet. Like, it's not doom or gloom. You're not at your deathbed and you're like, I'll just do it tomorrow. So you put it off. It's no big deal. Yeah, until you have a heart attack or until you have a brain aneurysm, or you have to have your leg amputated because you have no blood circulation, or whatever the case may be, whatever, I don't know, till something stops working. Then, oh shit, I better make some changes in my life. This is what we do. Like going to you get a cavity, right? You hear the little knock. I got a cavity, and you just don't go to the dentist. The hell with it. And then you go to the dentist, you got a cavity, I got to fix it. And you don't have time. I'll just do it next week. And then the feeling goes away. And you put it off and you put it off and you put it off. And then finally you wake up and you have an abscess. And now you got to have the tooth pulled or whatever. And it's going to cost you $1,000 versus a cavity, which is a couple hundred. Who loses in this situation? The dentist gains a lot. You lose a lot. All because you put it off, put it off, put it off, put it off. Right? So some of you here are you don't eat healthy. You treat your temples like shit. Like it's going to last forever. And you put it off and you don't care because you're not at your door's deathbed. It's not like that. Like when you get an abscess, you have to go get it fixed. And usually when that happens, you're broke or you don't have the time or you're at a busy ass schedule. And now you screw everybody else's life up because you didn't handle it in the beginning. So this is why prevention is so important. Anyway, I'm getting on this long tangent, but maybe some of you needed to hear this message. But what I'm saying is if you're overweight and you ain't working out and you can, why are you not working out? At least go walk. Reduce the weight. Make the decision you're going to do it. Just like burning the ships when you go to the ocean, when you go to the island, what would you do? Go buy a whole new wardrobe because your goal, you're going to get down 3 pant sizes and all your jeans aren't going to fit you anymore. Throw them out. If you threw your jeans out and kept just 1 pair and you got to go out and buy 5 new pairs. If you got 6 pairs of jeans to your name or 10, go buy 10 new pairs of jeans with 3 sizes smaller. You know why most of you won't do it? Because you don't think that you're going to do it. You don't have faith in your efforts. Why would you not have faith? How much faith do you have in yourself, man? If you want to quit smoking pot, stop saying I'm going to quit. I'm going to stop. You can always start back up again. Throw your pot away. Erase the number in your phone of your dealer. I know you're going to go back, well, I'll just find a way. Man, burn the ships. Whatever it takes. Go buy the 5 pairs of pants or 10 pairs of new pants that are going to be 3 sizes too small for you. And make the decision that you're going to reduce your weight down, not lose it. You're going to reduce it down. Make the decision that you're going to get healthy. Some of you are very unhealthy and you have a partner and they're going to pay the price because you're going to get sick because you didn't take care of yourself. And when your health crashes, they're going to have to stop what they're doing to come fix you because they're a slave to you, of course. That's the way it works. I mean, is that selfish? Of course it's selfish. all because you just keep putting it off and keep putting it off and keep putting it off, thinking that you're magically just going to do it one day. I'll just do it next week. And that when next week becomes a year. This is what happens in society, man. People don't take care of themselves. And then they become very toxic. And then they become very bitter and angry and mad at the world. And they go down this different path. People start to not like them. Their vibration goes down. They want to be in that high vibration, but their body's like, nope. You're freaking 50, 100 pounds overweight. I'm not going to give you that vibration. So then you become anxiety ridden. You become depressed. The whole body throws itself out. You got a toxic mind, toxic body. You got to just chip away. You got to make decisions, folks. You have to make the decisions and change in your life and then burn the ships. Like, I'm not going back. I don't know. I mean, I'll give you an example, man, and I'm going to do a decode on this guy. You know who Terrence McKenna is? Remember that guy, right? Yeah. Well, you know what his astrological chart said? You know how he died, right? Brain cancer. Yeah. Guess where his Pluto was? In Cancer. In the 9th house of the higher mind. The guy took so many psychedelics, he got brain cancer. Now, can I prove that he got brain cancer because he took all those psychedelics? Well, we know he took a lot of them. And I can prove that the 9th house was occupied by Pluto in Cancer. And the brain is the home. So I'm just telling you, folks, if you think, like, I know cannabis, okay, cool. You think it's the safest thing in the world, just keep doing it. If you start to forget and like you go in this never land, man, and then your whole family, and now your family has to adjust to your frequency because you're not homeostasis, or you're drinking too much, or you're not homeostasis. Like, this is why I'm saying, like, if you're going to be that kind of person, don't be in a relationship, don't have kids, don't put them through that. Don't put your girlfriend or boyfriend through this situation. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know why I got on this tangent, but I did. So maybe some of you needed to hear that. Ann, I'm not being judgmental. I'm being a realist. If you call that judgmental, I think you're too soft. That's being judgmental. I would say you're too soft. You can't handle realism. I'm being realist here. And it's not easy for me. I am disciplined because I have a lot of practice at it. I started at an origin of having no discipline, by the way. So it doesn't come easy for me. It comes easy now because I have programmed myself to do it. I'm just being a realist. I'm channeling. It's not even me telling you this. So I'm not being judgmental towards people. I'm giving you things to think about as a general overview. I'm not specifically picking anybody out. Well, Faith, I did talk about your pot, but I'm just giving examples, man. And I say all these things to you because I'm channeling these messages from wherever they're coming from, and whoever wants to hear the message is great. But I can assure you, they're coming from a place of love. I love everybody, man. I don't have an ill will in my body. Even my haters, I just become neutral to it. But I just see what I see. And you see that when you say the discipline's easy for you, the discipline's easy for anybody. Not everybody has the ability to be a prodigy, to play the piano and become a Mozart or Beethoven. Not everybody has the ability to be a prodigy and be a guitarist like Kirk Hammett of Metallica or Joe Satriani and be a legend like that. But everybody has the ability to use discipline. But we are programmed to not use the discipline. Discipline is not something that is like, oh, well, your destiny is discipline. No. The destiny is what you got as your fate, as your career and your destiny to the world. When it comes to discipline, that is something that is a practice that you do over and over and over. Kind of like when you drive the car. You remember when you went on your driver's test and you had your hands? I remember when I was 16, your hands, you can't even peel your hands off the steering wheel. They're on 10 and 2, man. And you're like, my back was sore after the test. You're clinched up and you're definitely afraid of not passing the test. And you go 20, 30 years into the future now. And now you're driving with your knee and you got your phone in your ear like this. And you're like, oh yeah, hold on, I got to get something in the glove box. Who's driving the car? Well, your subconscious mind is driving it, that you've programmed. That's where the discipline comes in. So it only becomes easy, and you say it only easy because you are not in the practice of doing it. If there's something that you can't do. If you practice it, you can become efficient at it when it comes to whatever it is that you want to do, especially when it comes to your health. Especially when it comes to that. Why I say that is because, yeah, we may have all different destinies, but the body for everybody, for the most part, works exactly the same. We all have a heart that pumps blood. We all have lungs that breathe air. We all have a pancreas. We all have a thyroid. We all have a liver. We all have a stomach and digestion. Everybody has the same body parts, but not everybody has the same career. Not everybody has the same destiny. So when it comes to the temple, it's even Steven, unless, of course, you were built with genetic dispositions that can play a factor and a role in there. But there are many different variables in there. Anyways. Oh, you're saying my vibe's coming off judging. Well, again, I mean, I'll be very clear then, right? I'm not trying to be judgmental here. I'm just channeling and giving you information to think about. The stuff that most people don't want to talk about. That's the stuff I like to talk about. The stuff that hurts. The stuff that itches. The stuff that you like to want to tune off. The stuff that makes you put a thumb down. The stuff that makes people get angry. My favorite cards in the tarot are the ones that everybody are afraid of. Like this one. I love this card. The 9 of Swords, the 10 of Swords, the card of this year, this one that governs this year. I love these cards because it's the end and the beginning's coming in. People don't want this, like Steve Jobs, when he was doing his college thing, many of you may remember, he said, everybody wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die to get there. Through the concept. So all I'm saying is, just my last thing I'll say here is, folks, that if there's something in your life that is nagging you, and you've been putting off through procrastination, maybe this is your message to wake up tomorrow and say, or Monday, because even tomorrow you'll put it off. It's Mother's Day, right? Oh, I'll just do it on Monday because tomorrow's Mother's Day. Burn the ship, man. Make the decision that you're not going to procrastinate anymore and just chip away at it. That's all you got to do. And I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a self-starter, right? Health and wellness. Those of you that are extra weight, those of you that have a weight to reduce, the very first thing that you should do over anything else, don't worry about the gym. How much water do you drink? This right here is 1 liter of water. Buy yourself one of these. This is one of those plastics that don't leach. My buddy Jeff gave me this thing when I went to LA. So now I'm back to the refilling this. Get yourself to drink 3 of these a day. Don't worry about changing your food regimen. Don't worry about eating. Don't try to impress. Don't try to stop eating what you've been eating. Just all you have to do is adjust and get 3 of these every single day. That's all you got to do. And when you get to this 3 a day for 1 month, then you move on to the next stage of maybe I'll start changing my food regimen. And I'll pretty much bet that the majority of you that need to reduce the weight, you probably are chronically dehydrated and you don't drink enough water, or you don't absorb the water, right? So when you start to hydrate yourself, you're not going to be hungry. You know, one of my really good friends was one of the top weight loss doctors in Beverly Hills, California. His name is Dr. Howard Flax. He's retired now. And he was a really, really nice guy. And when he retired, I got to have a conversation with him. And he told me, you know, like he was like a celebrity nutritionist kind of guy, right? And his secret for weight reduction was just water. That was it. And I've always drank a lot of water throughout my life, just from bodybuilding, and it was just like a thing that you do. So it's always been, it's been a programmed habit of mine. But that's what he says. People, and it kind of was congruent with what I teach in nutrition, is that if you're overweight, or if you want to reduce weight, you're probably toxic. The body's not moving. Lymphatic system is probably backed up. And so you're like a desert. You're not really getting the water. A lot of you only get one of these a day. I couldn't even imagine just having 1 liter of water a day. I'd be freaking parched. But the body's resilient and it adjusts, and you can just do 1 liter of a day and you won't even know you're not thirsty, because the body will adjust to that. But all you have to do if you want to reduce weight, 1 month, 3 liters of water. That is your goal. Forget everything else. And then you add on the other things. The other thing that I do is to make sure this hydrates the cells, I take salt, shake it in my hand, lick it off my hand, and then I drink my liter of water. That's the other thing I do, which it's easy before every liter. It's really easy to do. Do I eat, Mr. Man, do I eat apples? I have been on a non-apple consumption lately. My big thing has been I was on this watermelon kick for a long time, over a year. I still have some. Watermelon and celery I blend those up and I love it. But I've been on a lot of oranges lately. And I just listen to what my body wants. But a lot of oranges, a lot of blueberries and blackberries. So I shop at Costco if I can. So I go to Costco and I load up, and they have the best they have those halos, but I like the sun-kissed oranges. Oh, I'll eat 4 of those a day. Minimum. I eat 4 oranges a day, if not 6 sometimes. So I'll buy like 5 or 6 bags of sun-kissed oranges, and I just load up and I'll just eat those. I eat a lot of dates. I do lemon every day with baking soda. It's pretty much my staple, man. But a lot of blueberries and blackberries, for sure. I get, Costco carries them, man. So I just buy the big bulk ones, and I love them, man. I mean, that's gonna be my meal after this. I already had my full meal earlier. I had some salmon with corn, but now when I end this transmission, it will be, I got my eyes on, right over there, I got 2 big fat oranges that have no seeds in them. They're sweet as hell. And I'm going to just top those with blueberries. And I'm going to put some walnuts and pecans and pine nuts in there. And that's what I'm going to have, man. And I do a lot of fruit. I love it. Fruit's like, I'm big into fruit. Big. I used to do pineapples and cucumbers, Jewel. I love those. I just kind of outgrew the taste for some reason. Grapefruit's good, Faith. Yeah. Great. I love grapefruit. Right now, I'm kind of cleaning out my kidneys. So I'm taking this phosphate stuff, which is like a phosphorus, and you're not supposed to have like the acid fruit of grapefruit. So I try to stay away from those. But I love grapefruit. Especially here in Mexico, we get the Ruby Reds. Oh man, they're freaking good. Yeah. Jet Selly says, if we have a destiny and somehow we can't change it, you can't change it. Well, that's my truth anyway. What's the point of knowing it? Because it makes it easy for navigation. Like I'll give you an example. Door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. Which one are you going to pick? I'm going to pick door number 1. Door number 1, tomorrow comes. Door number 1, door number 2, door number 1. Door number 1, door number 1, maybe one day, door number 3. Well, guess what? Door number 3 is already scripted. As is door number 2. When you start to understand your astrology, your numerology, it allows you to see the doors much clearer. All the paths are already predestined for you. When you have an understanding of and knowing, then you don't have to try. There's no more believing anymore. It makes the path a lot easier. That's why we do it. Apple cider vinegar is amazing. Yep. Yeah, especially the nuts. Like I do a lot of nuts. I eat a lot of nuts. I like taking, I buy the walnuts and pecans at Costco. I take them home. I have an air fryer and I put them in the air fryer. I put a little bit of olive oil and salt in there and I run that through the air fryer at a really low temperature for about a half hour. And they just, you get them roasted. And then I love pecans and walnuts together because walnuts are they're very acidic-y, that very bitter taste. But when you add the sweetness of the pecans, it balances out that bitterness. So they're just amazing. And walnuts, of course, have the highest amount of omega-3s. So that's like the best, most healthiest nut. I mean, it is the brain. So. Daniel's asking about the ascendant in astrology. Why is it important? Well, because it's a layer of your personality. Let me just go to that chart. When you go to the ascendant, this is the YouTube. This right here, this is the chart of when YouTube created their domain on Valentine's Day. Now, I don't know if it was at 8 in the morning because it doesn't give us a time. So this may be incorrect, but I'm just going to use it for the sake of the example. The rising sign right here. What does it mean to have a rising in these specific houses? Well, this is where the sun starts to come up right here. And that means the sun wants to play. Even if the sun's not here, like this is 8 in the morning and the sun is already right here. So this is the sun being here at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's already risen above. But the rising position is a part of your identity and it's shaped by primarily the first house because we're going to go down. And this house right here is your identity. It's the house of Aries. Aries is your ruler of Mars. Mars is your testosterone, your drive, your identity right here. So this is why the rising sign is so important in astrology because of the position that it's in with the first house. If you go to numerology, if I go to my numerology page, and just show you what it means. Again, numerology matches up with astrology. It's really easy to know what astrology is when you look at numerology. But here's the first house of astrology. This is, I want to be number 1. Because when you start out in astrology, you are number 1. You're number 1 right here. Your rising sign. The sun comes up. It's time to play. It's me. Hey, look at me. I'm now illuminated. Right? So the number 1 is all about the beginning, the first light, the rising sign that brings everything into being. So it's associated with these words. you being independent, you being a pioneer, you having leadership, a trailblazer, beginnings, new starts, initiation. So this is a very assertive, innovative, confident kind of number. That's the rising sign in your astrology chart, all tied to that number 1. Because this is what starts it off. This goes in reverse. So this is the sun flipped upside down. This is the east, and it's going to travel all the way around to the west. Okay? This does it in reverse when you read the charts through astrology by default. But that's how valuable the numerology is. So if you go through the houses, all the houses, there's the 1, there's the second house. Now you want to know what house number 2 is? Partnership. That's ruled by Venus and Taurus. Now you got to get into give and take, because now it's not just you, it's you and somebody else. And then after you get out of the relationship, now you're kind of been 10 years in the relationship. Now it's time to expand, right? 3 is the force of expansion. This is Mercury, Gemini. Now it's time to get creative and artistic and et cetera, et cetera. That's the 3rd house of astrology. Then the 4th house, now you get into your home, stability, foundations. Okay, it's ruled by Cancer and the moon and the emperor. That's the 4. So once you have your root established and you have your home established, now you want to venture out, and now you go on and you become what I like to call the Indiana Jones of numbers. It's the number 5. And 5 is Leo, which is the sun. The sun wants to become. So now the sun wants to go on these adventures. It wants the freedom to explore. If you're a 5 energy, you're a very busy person. If you have a 5 birthday, 5 life path, you're primarily a very busy kind of person. And then after you go on all your adventures, then you move into the number 6, which now you have to nurture the energy. Now it's all about harmony, because it's the Lover's card and the cosmic parent. And this energy is about compassion and family, and it's your health and wellness. Because see, maybe you ran yourself ragged with the 5. And then after the 6, you get into the number 7, the house of Libra, which is the scales of justice. This is God right here, right? At the climax, because 7 is the letter L, if you flip it upside down, and L is the word for God. 7 is the 7 chakras. 7 is the 7th day in the days of creation, which is the day of rest and reflection. You're going to reflect on your family and your manifestations and your home and what you've created and everything you've done in 6, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now you're going to get to the 7, and now you're about seeking truth and critiquing all the things that you've created and the things you've adopted, and creating your health and your wellness and your family and your children and your home and your business. You're now going to critique that before you go into the underworld. And then you go into the number 8, which is Scorpio, and then into the number 9. And this is how this works. This is how easy it is, how easy it's to figure out who you are and why you're here, based upon these placements through numerology into astrology. Mr. Man's so here's another thing we can talk about, right? We're talking about magic spells. So I'm just giving you things to think about. We talked about losing weight. We want to get rid of that word lose and say, I'm going to reduce my weight. Instead of needing to go to the gym, I want to go to the gym, or I am going to go to the gym. I am going to eat better. Well, how about the word cheat? I used to use this a lot. My cheat day. Well, does that have anything positive about it? I know it's a simple thing, right? Oh, I'm just saying that. Yeah, but it's a magic spell that we're speaking. So instead of saying I'm going to have my cheat day, we turn it into a reward day. Much more positive, right? So when's your reward day? Mr. Man, I'm not a big cheesecake person. I'm more of a Like if I had to have dessert right now, it would be a chocolate lava cake with vanilla ice cream. That warmed up. That's what I would have. But anyway. Yeah, donuts are amazing too. All right, so I'm gonna get to the tail end of this and do some cards and then kind of get out of here. I'm gonna go in for 4 hours, so let's wrap this up. I'm just gonna go with the cards tonight. Greg's asking, what's the significance of an 8th house Scorpio stellium? Well, Scorpio is the house of transformation, so a lot of transformations. And depending on what's sitting in there with the stellium, the planetary positions, then it's going to be a lot of transformation through, like if you got Venus there or Mars there, you could have transformation through love. Could be a lot of love relationships that can get very transformative. Just depends on what your sun's at, where your sun's at, and then where your Pluto and Mars are at. So there's a lot of factors in there, but Scorpio means power and transformation. So if you have a stellium in there, then there's probably going to be a lot of transformations throughout the course of your life from a simplistic viewpoint. All right, since we're talking about food, let's talk about some pizza, baby. When I was in LA not too long ago, and I've had a lot of pizza in LA, and they have a lot of good restaurants in LA. And I was staying at a friend of mine's, really good friend of mine's, right off of Sunset Boulevard, down on the west side of West Hollywood, right? And if you know this area, there's a lot of good stuff over there. Well, I found this pizza place called Prince's Pizza. And they're from New York. I had never eaten it. It wasn't there when I was there. Well, let me tell you, I had it 3 times. Just go in there and get a slice. I had 2 slices. You can't just get one. It was amazing. It was that pizza that was so good. It was so hot it burnt the roof of my mouth and I didn't care. I still ate it. Then the next day you're like, oh shit, that roof of my mouth is burned. Yeah, because the pizza was too freaking hot, but you didn't care. So anyway, so that place, Prince's Pizza on Sunset Boulevard on the west side, amazing if you like New York style. I would get the miniature ones. They have these 10-inch, and you order them directly, and they come with a little bit less dough than even the New York style ones, the big slices that they normally carry because they sell them by the slice. But if you get the 10-inch ones, the personal ones, way better. They're awesome. Anyway, what about you? What's the best pizza for you guys where you're at? Maybe I can remember these places that you're having pizza at. I love pineapple on pizza. Pepperoni and pineapple used to be my go-to. That's my favorite combination, pepperoni and pineapple. But now I just do. Belgian waffles with fruit, that's pretty cool. All right, so let's pull a couple cards and get the heck out of here. Chicago, man. I love deep dish. There's another good place if you're in LA. There's a place in Echo Park. Down, if you're going to drive towards Dodger Stadium, it's called Massey's Bakery. And the guy that owns it, him and his wife, they're from Chicago. Awesome deep dish. And they have an amazing bread pudding. Whew. I don't even eat desserts really, but it's sick. But anyway, Massey's Bakery in Echo Park is a must if you like Chicago. Amazing pizza there. Jack Bink says, it's my dream to open my pizza. I was going to open one. I was going to do it. So I'm down with that, man. Do I like stuffed crust? It's all right. Yeah, I like it. And then there's one last place to tell you. If you're in LA, man, I have a lot of followers in LA. This place, if I could choose any place to go get pizza, this is a place I'd go to. And I wouldn't even get the pizza. It's called Pizzeria Mazza. And it's Nancy Silverton's restaurant. It's on Melrose and Highland or something like that. And I don't even get the pizza. She's known for her bread. So you go get her bread and it's freaking like that thick. You just get a side of bread and they toast it and they have olive oil that's like enriched in the, and then you just get the marinara for dipping on the side. It's heaven. It's heaven, man. So if you don't like, if you can't do cheese, you just get that bread that she has, the side of the bread with the marinara they use for the pizza, and you get a side of that and you dip the bread in there. That's better than any pizza. No cheese. It's amazing. Pizzeria Mazza. All right. Yeah, pineapple. When I was vegan, I would do jalapeno and pineapple. When I was vegan, that was like my big go-to. Yeah. All right, so let's get to some of these cards and we'll wrap it up. Thanks everybody for joining me through my rants and my raves. And I guess I was a little too serious tonight. So if I offended you, my apologies. I honestly didn't. I meant well. Sometimes I just come across as a disruptor. I guess Ann says I was a little too much thrust tonight. But anyways, all right. So to end this, what's your question number 101, being the 26 prime number on the wall, justice and lightning. There's justice coming in, so it seems. Maybe for you. Maybe some of you, the message is that you're going to have some message coming in that will provide justice. The card to the right of me is the 8 of Wands, the 8 of Clubs. It can be a card on the asset side. It can be a card of love. So there could be love energy swooping in, which the justice is not just justice with the law or legal. It can be balancing things out. For those of you that are going through a breakup, maybe this is what's coming down the pike. That there will be a swift lineup of justice coming in for, and some of you, maybe you're the one who's doing all the turmoil. Maybe justice will be served to you. I talked to Sharon Jeffers, a great card reader. She left me a message earlier, and she told me that she talked about a solar flare that is supposedly coming in, which could disrupt things. Which, again, I don't really follow much mainstream, so I wouldn't know, but that could follow what these cards are saying here. Because, disasters form justice in a way. So it could have many different meanings, but let's play off of this here. This is the main theme for 101. What's your question 101? This is the 26 prime number. Room number 101, where Neo answers the door for the rabbit. Follow the white rabbit. He opens door number 101. But the energy of the eight of wands on that side of me, that one, is air, lightning coming in, and then the Justice card is Aquarius energy too as well. So this is that card on the wall on the right of me is Scorpio. So power, and then on the left of me is Aquarius, air. So you could say that there's fire and air coming. That could be a solar flare with these two cards, if we play it that way. Air is Aquarius, that's justice. The Eight of Wands on the right of me is an air card, and that's through Scorpio, which is traditionally ruled by Mars, and Mars is fire. So I'm just telling you that because Sharon messaged me just before I came on and told me about the solar flare. But let's see what the most important thing to focus on in life right now collectively. And this message may be specifically for you. I'm going to do 3 cards like I normally do. Maybe if I feel compelled, maybe I have one of my numbered cards. I may do that. But let's see what this message is on top of those cards on the wall there. So the very first card for What's Your Question 101? What's the most important thing for you to focus on in life right now? What is that? Oh, it's the freaking Joker? Wow. It's the Joker. The Joker. You know what comes to my mind as soon as they're coming out? The Joker movie. Where he pillages the city, Gotham. Now the Joker, what's interesting about the Joker is that there are 2 Jokers in the deck, typically. So I correlate it to the 0, the Fool, and then card 53. 52 card, then card 53. And 53 is tied to iodine and Yeshua. I'm coming with a sword. I'm not coming with people. I'm coming with a sword. This is nature, right? Nature is the sword sometimes. We covered this in Zombieland. Zombieland Decoded. You know what's happening over there in these areas, in these cities? That's the sword from the Christ. Cleaning it up. People getting taken out by addictions. As horrific as it is. The wiping out of people. Trimming the fat, man. I know it's a horrific thing, man, right? Some people just get sucked into that and then they just can't get out. So we covered in the Zombieland. Some of these people are living through it makes me grateful that I didn't have that code, because some of these people are having their flesh being eaten away and they can't stop taking these drugs because they're addicted to them. Man, what a hamster wheel to be on, man. My heart, I have a lot of compassion for people like that because I've beaten addiction and I know what it means. So, that's brutal to not be able to stop doing that shit. Anyway, we got the Joker. Let's see what the next card is. Second card. The Ace of Diamonds, card 27. Now there's a gift coming in, an idea, an event. This card is 27. It can be tied to heaven. The word heaven equals 27. So it could be coming from, this can also mean the sun again. Pure speculation, but the idea is on the table. Let's see what the third card is. And then I'll get to the interpretations as best I can for you as a person. The last and final card. Wow. So 8 of Hearts. This is another. So this card right here is tied to the Morning Star. Because in the originations of Venus, you had Inanna and Ishtar. And Ishtar was an 8-pointed star. if you take the 264 from Bright Morning Star that I showed you earlier, this is the card that's attached to it. This is the power of love. When you have the 8, it's power, and love means I feel the power of love, right? But it can be liability if it's used in the black magic way. But this sits in the house of Scorpio, and that card to the right of me on the wall sits in the house of Scorpio. So we have the power of love here with that card of lightning on the right of me in the sign of Scorpio, which is power. And then there's a gift coming in. And what's coming in is from the Joker that started all this off. So when I add these up, 27 and 8 is 35. Wow, it's the mirror of the 53. That's like 88, hidden 88. I don't want to get too crazy on you guys because my brain goes a million. Yeah. So literally, we know what we have. This is card number 8. This is card number 27. And if I take the Joker and I use it as card 53, what's 8 plus 27 plus 53? Get out your calculators. It's 88. That's raw, man. Again, like I didn't have to try. See? Comes out again. So the idea here is, and this could be the sun, man, because the raw's tied to the sun. Is it completely the sun? No, the moon's in there as well. But the Joker, man, this could be a disruption. This could be the solar flare that Sharon was talking about. I don't know. I'm going to have to look into this now. But this is, what's the most important thing for you to focus on in your life right now? Well, there's a gift of love coming in. So from an individualistic perspective, there's a gift of love, an act of love, and you might not even see it coming. And it's coming from heaven. The idea of heaven is it's bliss and beautiful. When you correlate it to what's on the walls here, it could mean that the disruption that's coming in is actually a gift which is going to have a lot of love to it, which is going to come in really quickly with the 8 of Wands on the wall, and it will serve justice in your life. Or you will be served justice. Because maybe you're not the innocent one. Maybe you're the one causing the chaos in life. Let me get one tarot card to get a final overview, and we'll call it a night. Wow, it's crazy to add up to 88, though. Psh. Of all things, more raw reference. All right, let me get one card from the deck of the tarot and see what the final message is here. It's freaking card 62, man. It's the star. It's Jesus. It's Emmanuel. Life is but a dream. This can mean life is but a dream. This means revolution, change, massive change. Card 62. Emmanuel in numerology is 62. Star in Greek is 62. The fame monster. This is massive change, folks. So when you add massive change to those two cards on the wall that really represented tonight's message, but then you add in the Joker, which can mean disruption, but then you add in the gift of love coming in, well, this could be a revolution of a gift of love to come into your life that may catch you off guard because you're not expecting it with the Joker card. Anything's possible with the Joker card. For some of you, it can be very disruptive, though. This can be a very disruptive card. Again, this is card 62. And that 62 is tied to the movie. Life is but a dream. That's what this card is. So this could mean the dream is going to be changing in a very big way. See, I'm like, for me, I don't know what it is for you, but I'm like in this bubble of mine where I don't really follow the mainstream stuff. So I'm oblivious to a lot of it. I literally mean that because I'm so fixated on these decodes. I'm so fixated on doing readings. Got this course coming out. I'm super busy on doing stuff. I'm not paying attention to anything around me really. I mean, when I decoded the Pope, that was as mainstream as I got. So I really don't pay attention to that stuff. But for some of you, there could be a revolution coming in for you that you won't see coming, that will be very unexpected. But there's an offering of love here to make change in your life. And it may cause justice. The justice can be where you won't even know it's justice. Like you're just being served that. Some of you need to get justice be served in your life. You may be the initiators of the opposite of that. Because this was a kind of a collective, right? Like, what's the most important thing for you to focus on in life right now? Massive change. A lot of change, unexpected change with the Joker. Anything's possible. When the Joker pops out, man, you don't know what to expect. It can be, for some of you, massive disruption that's coming in. And then the Eight of Hearts is also a card of walking away. This is like spirit entering matter. And then when matter doesn't want to play anymore. So for some of you, you may have to walk away from something that's coming in. You may have to walk away. Some of you may have, like if some event happened in life where it was a really shitty thing that happened on the world stage, you may have to walk away from things that are important to you. That's what the Eight of Hearts can mean. But we have 88 here, man. And remember that the word phoenix is 88 in Greek. That's right. In the Greek numerology, the word phoenix is 88. And this card right here is a revolution card. This is a card of revolution, man. Going into war. The Knight. The Jacks. The Age of Aquarius. The Age of Aquarius is that justice card. So, that's what I got for you, ladies and gentlemen. Trying to think of whatever other angles I can give you. Knight of Swords, revolution. The Joker, revolution. Some of you may have love coming into your life and it will be a revolution because maybe you're like me. You know, actually last month, it was 36 months of celibacy for me. Not in a relationship since 2018. So if you're like me, if you've been like not on the court playing, if you've just been on, like just watching, that may change for you. Because this Knight of Swords is, this is the new dream coming in, a new adventure, a new dream coming in. The Joker, unexpected, not knowing what you're going to get. The Ace of Diamonds is a very like, here you go, you want to play? Here's another chance. Here's another opportunity. This for some of you, this could mean another opportunity of love to come in. You know, it's so crazy when you go and you go and watch tarot card readers. If you go do your whatever your sun sign is, your sun, moon, or your Venus or your rising, whatever if you have a tarot card reader that you go to, if you just type in whatever your sun sign is, tarot, you're going to see tons of tarot readers now. And you know what you'll see? The majority of them, it will be about love. The majority of the tarot readers that are on YouTube, their main draw is about love or money, which are the two biggest sellers on the world stage. They're littered with them. And I don't want to be one of those people that just kind of talks about the same thing here, but today's is What's your question? 101, which is the 26 prime number, and that's the casino, the house. That's the big tall tale sign. And then the card of revolution and the card of change with the Joker and the Ace of Diamonds, which is the gift coming in, and the Eight of Hearts, which is the power of love. Some of you may have a relationship that's coming in that you're not expecting. I mean, listen, I can honestly tell all of you here, be vulnerable and authentic, because I've been saying this, because I've had a lot of people ask me, is that it for you? Are you done? Are you just going to be a monk forever? And I say the same things. I have no idea. I'm not in control of my destiny. And if this message was for somebody who's, if I was sitting on your end and I was listening, I'd be like, no way. That's because what I'm kind of saying. No, I'm not even looking. I have no desire for that. But I'm not in control. So this is a message that I could even portray to myself, that there's a massive change coming in with this for some of you, there will be a very noticeable change coming into your life. The Joker is like, you got to have fun with this. We can't just be all, because the Joker is it can go either way. It could be nasty. It could be blissful. And the Ace of Diamonds is a card of the gift. It's the ace, the number one. It's materialism. It's manifestation of materialism. Spirit. This is the card of matter. Like spirit into matter. Venus. This is the card of the beginning of the matter. This is the Eucharist card. This is the body of Christ right here. And then you have the Eight of Hearts. So this could also mean that there will be a mass exodus of people getting the hell out of here. And this could mean death. I'm not putting fear into anything, because you got to just make peace with this kind of stuff. We're all going to die one day. Have you ever thought about that? Like, one day you're going to die. But this could mean death, because the Eight of Hearts is walking away, and it could mean that. But I would think that the way I read this is there's a revolution coming in. And for some of you, it will be unexpected. And you may remember this message. You'll be like, oh, holy shit. You may have some messages or you get a phone call, or you get some opportunity to come your way that will completely change or upend your life. And you didn't see it coming because you weren't expecting it. But the Eight of Hearts is the power of love, man. This is the star of Venus right here. And you have Jesus right here. Emmanuel's right here. We have literally, folks, I'm not even religious, okay? But I study and break it down like crazy. I'm like fascinated by it, because I got a 9 life path. But anyway, I just decoded this today. This is the card of Emmanuel right here, man. The Joker is card 53. Yeshua is 53. That is Emmanuel. We have 3 cards here. 4. They're all of them, actually. The Ace of Diamonds is the Eucharist. We literally have 4 cards that are about some kind of love and light energy coming in. That's really kind of the overall message here. And it's going to come in hot and heavy. And it can't just mean the sun. It can mean the solar flare. Yep. Because the eight is tied to the number 19. 19 is the 8th prime number. 19 is the sun card in the tarot. These mean the sun. So there's like literally 4 cards here that I could attribute to. And again, this is where, when you go down the rabbit hole and you see how everything attaches, you're like, how do I interpret this? Because now I have so many connections. I'm tempted to pull one more, but I don't want to do that. I'm tempted to pull one. All right, well, that's what I got for you, folks. Watch, I'll just pull a numbered card. Watch this. I'll just do a number card. I have these flashcards number 1 through 100, right? Let me just shuffle them. I'll just pull one number and let's see. Let's see what number pops up. Let me just see. Shuffle them really good. Let's see what number pops up. What is that? Well, it's 96, and this is the yin yang. There's so many words that connect to 96. I could even say, because, I mean, Jesus in the ancient Greek is 96, but so is Kronos. Saturn. 90 freaking 6, man. Another Christ card. I mean, it's just, and then tonight's, I mean, look at the thing I created here. This is the Jesus sitting in the lap of Mary. And I put the smiley face on there because, again, it's the sun. And all these angels are taking images of Jesus because he's the fame monster. And then I created this one to make it look like it's This is why I kind of created these theaters. I didn't even know it. Then I'm like, oh my God, that's what it means. It's YouTube is going inward. You literally, if you're sitting outside the screen and then you have a room to go into, and then once you're in that room, then you have another room to go into. There's literally 3 tiers here. There's your tier, there's the tier in between, and then the tier to go down into another one. But this was the idea here, and we've already done the Fame Monster decoded over on the Patreon. I did the Jesus Venus. We just pumped out this Pope Leo. It's all about the sun, man. And now we have this come out like this. Wow, something up with the sun. Something out with love and light, man. Love and light. The 2 L's. Love and light both start with the letter L, and L is light, the 7 colors of the rainbow. Let's see. Well, that's what I got for you, ladies and gentlemen. I could keep going. That 96 can go a million different ways, so I don't really have any kind of interpretation on that because there's so many possibilities with it. But it is a balanced number. It's tied to the number 42 because the element molybdenum has an atomic weight of 96.906. Molybdenum 42, 96.906. That's that 96. That's tied to the generation of Jesus Christ. This is the card of Jesus Christ. The Joker's tied to Yeshua, which is Jesus Christ. I mean, this 8 of hearts is tied to the bright morning star, which is Venus, which is the Christ. I mean, tonight's episode, I mean, it's just so ridiculous. It's not me doing this, man. I'm not fudging anything. I'm not trying to, I don't know. I mean, I know, but so there's light and love coming in. Love is Venus, light is the sun. And you got Lucifer in there. The light, the phosphorus. So we're in the light game. That's what we're in. Playing out the light game as a human, as matter, running around, being used. And love is the trap because that's what human beings do. And they get attached. We get attached. We all do this. But you know what, folks? It's inevitable. Even with these words that I say about love being the trap, there's no guarantee that it won't trap me again. And even if you don't get into a relationship, even if you just completely become a monk, shave your head, and never get into a relationship ever again, chances are you're going to have a job or a career that you'll fall in love with, and that will be your trap. And when it goes, you'll be sad to see it go. It's just, that's why love always wins. And we're in the light game. And that's love and light, man. It's the law of one. The law of one is lights, camera, action. That's what it is. So, I mean, that's what I got for you. I mean, all the cards tonight, the whole thing was about the love and light. You know, and I appreciate. I just tell you, folks, we need to be grateful about our lives. We need to gratitude is where it's at. You know, being in love with your life, being grateful for the instrument that you got, treating people, you know, with at least be neutral. If you can't, like if you don't like somebody, just be neutral about it at least. When you're around people and you can show them love and light, you know, like this is what we do. We got to be slightly alkaline. The blood is slightly alkaline, slightly love, man. That's how the body functions. But it's the middle. It's the lukewarm, man. In my opinion, it's lukewarm. Slightly love though, because the blood is 7.3 to 7.4 on the pH. It's slightly alkaline, slightly love. The blood is. Our blood is slightly love. It's not slightly evil, slightly love. And that's what keeps the meters slightly over the edge. I'll show you this one last thing and we'll wrap it up. And I'll show you how it works on the scale here. When you look at a pH scale, okay, a typical pH scale, this is the blood here. Okay? The blood sits right here. That's where it sits. Sits right at that 7 right there. 7.3 if you look at the pH scale of the blood. This is how you know, man. See the blood levels? The blood sits in between 7.3 and 7.4. 7.3 is 73, which is this. Watch. You're on television. Whoops. You're on television. There you go. 73. The blood is 7.3. You're on television right here. Okay? If you get down here, you'll die. If you go up here, you'll die. Okay? This is why the 9 is acidic. But so is 6. This is the blood pH. So when you take this and you correlate it to the pH of the normal scale, like this, we got to be right here, which is green. Slightly green. Slightly love. Okay, right here. And this is where we end up winning the game of life. You got to be slightly love, man. Slightly alkaline. You can't be down here. This is why the law of one says you got to be 51% service to others. It's right there. That's the blood. 51% service to others is going to be right there. Service to others. That's the law of one material. And the law of one is 56. Just like lights, camera, action. Because you're in a game, man. You're in a movie. And this is what it is. It's spirit into matter. See? And it's called how do you measure that? I can't even type tonight. Speed of light. Light, where light slowed down into physical matter. Okay? That's what we are. Playing this out. So if we want to get this right, if it is the law of one material, if everything's one and we are just graduating up or staying the same, the graduation is slightly alkaline, slightly neutral, slightly base. Not too much here, not too much here. Right there. The graduation. That's the law of one material. Right? So if you have somebody that you hate, you can't stand, you're going to place them down here. You can't do that. You have to put them here. Your worst enemy, you have to place them here and realize they're just doing their job. That's it. You don't have to place them higher than that. Just there. Like, hey, it's your journey, man, not mine. I don't have to live through your stuff. You can't place people down here. If they want to go down here themselves, that's on them. But on your scale, everybody should be right here. No matter what. You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to hang out with them. You don't have to associate with them. But having no enemies. Just keeping them right here. Not having to worry about it. Let them go down here or go up here. That doesn't matter. It's not your concern. You're the star of the show right here. That's where you want to play it out. That's the blood pH. That's the pH that you want to be as a human being. It's right in the middle. It's the green, man. Right here. Okay? The forest green. So I hope this helped you out with this scale here. I mean, even distilled water is right there. You know? It doesn't have, it's stripped of everything. It's naked. This is being naked. If you come down here, you now are in the field of where most people are, where this is all humping and procreation and sex and orgasms and drugs and feeding the stomach. And that's where all this stuff hangs out. That's why the stomach is down here, the HCI. That's all acidic. But up here, even the same thing, man. If you come up here, you can get brain cancer by focusing too much on the knowledge period. When you strip everything down, you become like that distilled water in the human blood where you're slightly love, slightly alkaline, and this is where you want to keep everybody on your playing field. This is right here. How you feel about them. Whatever they do in their life is not your concern. How you feel about them, they should be right here. So if you have amends to make with people, you know, if you feel like you need to go tell them something, make the amends, then do it. But if you already made the amends and you already know that you're treating them exactly the most supposed to, and you kind of let it go and then just keep doing that. This is where you want to be right here. Okay? All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that's what I got for you. A long 4.5, a long one tonight. Goes by so fast. Okay. Yeah, it's a tough one, man. And sometimes it can be challenging to keep people on that position. You know, it really definitely is. It can be challenging to keep them at that space because they may be way down on a bender. They may be really like just being an evil human being. And then what we normally do is we push them, we keep them down there by the way we think about them. Whereas if we look at somebody that is they're on a really rough ride, like they're really being challenged in life, or maybe they're persecuting you. If you could just step back and think about, you know, maybe it's sharpening you. So you don't judge. So you just like, you know, like they're just doing their job. Ultimately. You're just doing yours. And they're responsible for their journey, not you. It's their screenplay, not yours. So we can look at these people and then the biggest takeaway, and I'll leave you with this, folks, is if you can be grateful by looking at someone's life like that, and maybe you feel like, yeah, they're really on a bad bender, or, you know, they're really pushed way down and they're really, you know, miserable about life or angry about life or whatever. You could be grateful that you're not there. We just move into a state of gratitude. Like, I'm glad I used to be at that position and I'm not that way anymore. And then you can maybe at least have a little compassion and say, like, wow, I hope they turn it around. You know. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I got for you. Let me just find a song here and we'll just, away we go. We'll get the hell out of here. I'm going to play an uplifting song here. Let's get... and then you guys and gals can talk amongst yourselves. I can't even find the song. I can't find anything tonight. I think I'm just tired. I had the song and I can't find it now. Okay. Well, just play this. This will work. It's a good upbeat song. It's a great tune. I can't remember the name of it, but it's an amazing mix. It's one of my favorites. Synthwave stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor and pleasure, man. What's Your Question 101 in the books? I appreciate each and every one of you for sticking through all this. I hope you got something out of this transmission. Sending you guys tons of love from the Caribbean and Mexico. Until next time, we will see you later.
Pretend